Thank you, Dr. Watanachai Tasen about the welcome speech. So for the next one, I'm gonna share with the slides presentation. Uh, give a talk from Professor Pillai Punsawat.
First of all, I would like to congratulate for the organizer who, take all the trouble to organize this seminar. Although it's what we call, I don't know the word that you use this kind of seminar. Normally, I prefer, eye to eye, eye to eye seminar. Anyway, the theme, wings to hope, right? That is very, very good. I admire those who think of this theme. Wing. Once you can move the wing, you have some hope. So, but wing for the old birds, that would be, it would be deteriorate. So I think the young bird are trying to learn, and that's the hope of the birds. So young generation is very important in all aspects, particularly the conservation. Without young generation pay attention to this conservation, I think it will be hopeless. So when I started my research on Hornbill, at that time I'm not young. I'm already early 30. But anyway, before that, I worked at like nothing in my mind that okay, I would dream of just when I put all my effort to Hornbill, then I set up, I have my mindset that I will have to learn about this bird, no matter what happened, no matter what difficulties or obstacles, I will try to cross over. I set like that, so nobody can stop me. So how many times that I fall, I will get up and fight. So I would like to to transfer this curiosity, determination, passion to the young generation, because I emphasize that conservation is not just the party that will be ended one moment or one day, 1 year. Conservation is the continuation. It's just like you are breathing. You have to keep breathing. Then these natural resource or this nature will prosper and will be sustained. It for your own sake, not for the old generation, but for the young generation. So it's your duty You have to think of this is your duty to keep this natural heritage that God gave you, to continue for your children, So you have to send or to give your children the best, right? The best condition. So that's why the conservation, particularly in hornbills, it's very clear that hornbill can regenerate the forest, which is now in a critical situation. I think nobody can deny that in Thailand, the situation of forest is, very critical. And of course, those inhabitants, who live in the residents that live in the forest, including human, will be in critical too. So I hope that the young generation, which is now, you know a lot of the technology, you are crazy about technology. I hope that you should use technology to make a benefit to the hornbill or other wildlife or other nature. This is what I hope, and I think that you will not discourage when you just facing a little problem, or you should set your mind, and you should have the determination, and the what the I forgot the word. Sorry. You will be so determination, and this passion, like I mentioned earlier. When you have passion, then and also you may have several kind of dream. I encourage you to pursue one dream, to achieve the goal, and this is, I think, would be you can be proud of, if you can do this conservation dream. Now let's dream together, and let's have the wing of the hornbills can waving and go through all the against the current or whatever that will never stop, and then we will see the outcome, the outcome of this conservation will be beautiful. You believe me, it will be beautiful. Just like when you watch the scene of beautiful rose in a rose garden. You can see, if any garden that has just the the bloom rose, that will be a short future. But if in that scene you see all the young roses, then you have hope. You will see continuously the rose will be bloom. So I hope that this can catch you up, catch your mind, and let's hope together that you will leave all the best thing, the beautiful nature for your children. I have no children myself, but I have you, the young one, and the Hornbill as my children. And I hope that this is what we will build this up together. We will achieve together. Even after without me, I hope the conservation will be bloom and prosper. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so from the legacy of the Hornbill, I think after everyone listen, maybe you're gonna feel really enthusiasm to more like do more in conservation. So for the next step, or do we have a short few minutes that you want to say something after you listen this? Maybe you can say some 1 or 2 minutes. I'm gonna prepare for the next one. Yeah. Welcome. Maybe it's a bit.
Hi, hello. I am Shalita Kongrit from the Thailand Hornbill Research Foundation. And yeah, I would like to thank Dr. Pillai Poonsawat for her inspiration to the new generation like us. It's good and it give us hope and to walk on this path and continue support the conservation of hornbill not only for Thailand but for the hornbill around the world in Asian and in African country. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So for the next sessions, we're gonna watch the media from the nature explorer to produce like they spend more than 1 year to record it and following the researcher about hornbill researcher to do more media and to tell the story to you. So let's see. Maybe you wanna me to say something or maybe later. Okay.
ร่างที่กำลังไต่สูงขึ้นไปสู่เรือนยอดนี้คือคนซ่อมรังนกเงือกอาชีพที่ต้องเป็นหนึ่งเดียวกับธรรมชาติมีเพียงเส้นเชือกที่รั้งชีวิตพวกเขาไว้จากแรงดึงดูดของโลกแขนขาที่ออกแรงสุดกำลังไม่เพียงแบกน้ำหนักของตัวเองยังมีอนาคตของนกเงือกรวมอยู่ด้วยทำไมต้องเสี่ยงชีวิตทำไมมนุษย์ต้องเข้าไปแทรกแซงธรรมชาติมีคำถามมากมายสำหรับผู้คนที่แงนมองอยู่เบื้องล่างเมื่อโพรงในธรรมชาติหายากการแข่งแย่งจึงเป็นสิ่งที่ไม่อาจเลี่ยงพ่อนกกรามช้างแสดงความสนใจโพรงของนกเงือกสีน้ำตาลคอขาวเมื่อร่างกายไม่พร้อมที่จะปะทะเจ้าของบ้านจำต้องจากไปโพรงรังนี้เมื่อหลายปีก่อนมีนกเงือกกรามช้างเป็นเจ้าของแต่ แต่ 2-3 ปีที่ผ่านมาโพรงนี้กลายเป็นของครอบครัวนกกบเจ้าของเดิมแวะมาดูบ้างแต่ด้วยขนาดที่เล็กกว่าจึงไม่อาจแย่งชิงในบางพื้นที่นกเงือกจึงต้องเสี่ยงเพื่อความอยู่รอดบริเวณรอบเทือกเขาบูโดนกเงือกลงมาหาโพรงในสวนยางของชาวบ้านมีนกเงือกหัวแรดลงมาใช้โพรงทุกปีเป็นการปรับตัวของนกเงือกเมื่อโพรงรังบนเขามีจำนวนไม่เพียงพอ
โพรงรังที่ใช้ได้นานที่สุดเนี่ยก็ไม่เกิน10 ปีนะมันก็จะมีสาเหตุที่ทำให้นกใช้ไม่ได้อย่างเช่นพื้นโพรงซุดลงไปปากโพรงปิดมีน้ำไหลเข้าน้ำขังเพราะนั้นก็เป็นจุดเริ่มต้นว่าทำไมเราต้องมีการซ่อมแซมโพรงรัง
ผู้ที่ไต่สูงขึ้นไปอาจดูเหมือนฮีโร่บนเส้นเชือกแต่ทีมที่อยู่เบื้องล่างคือหัวใจของภารกิจต้องช่วยดึงเชือกเพื่อบังคับทิศทางการปีนคอยส่งอุปกรณ์ที่จำเป็นบันทึกข้อมูลของโพรงและขุดดินส่งขึ้นไปเมื่อต้องปรับระดับพื้นโพรงทีมภาคพื้นดินต้องคอยสนับสนุนตลอดเวลาปัญหาพื้นโพรงสุดต้องใช้ดินถมเพื่อปรับระดับพื้นโพรงปากโพรงที่กว้างเกินไปต้องหาวิธีทำให้แคบลงแต่ที่น่ากังวลที่สุดคือปากโพรงที่แคบเกินไป
หรือปากโพรงแคบเคยมีเคสแบบนกตัวเมียติดตายคาโพรงเลยตอนเข้าไปเข้าได้แต่ว่ามันอยู่นานใช่ไหมอยู่เดือน2 เดือนเนี่ยเนื้อไม้มันอาจจะงอกขึ้นมาปิดเจอตัวนกแบบติดคาอยู่ที่ปากโพรงแล้วปีนขึ้นไปดูก็เจอลูกนกฟักแล้วอยู่ในโพรงด้วยตายดิ
การสกัดปากโพรงให้กว้างขึ้นต้องเผื่อว่าเมื่อแม่นกขังตัวเองไว้ข้างในเวลาผ่านไปเนื้อเยื่อเจริญตรงปากโพรงโตขึ้นจะไม่บีบแคบจนแม่นกและลูกออกจากโพรงไม่ได้
อย่างโพรงเนี้ยถ้ารอให้มันปิดมือเนี่ยผมว่าอีกสัก30-40 ปีกว่าจะปิดเพราะว่ายาวเม็ดนิดๆกว้างขนาดนั้นเลยอีกยาวนานมากซึ่งพวกเราตายก่อนโอเคนะวิธีการที่จะทำให้โพรงที่ไม่สมบูรณ์แต่เราคิดว่าเมื่อสามารถใช้งานได้ภายในวันเดียว
แม้สภาพโพรงที่ปรับปรุงแล้วจะดูไม่สวยงามแต่เพียงพอที่จะให้นกเงือกใช้งานได้ตอนนี้สิ่งที่ทำได้ก็คือรอและเฝ้าสังเกตเมื่อถึงฤดูทำรังทีมซ่อมรังจากเทือกเขาบูโดในอดีตนั้นเคยมองนกเงือกเป็นเพียงสินค้าการล้วงลูกนกเงือกไปขายคือวิถีชีวิตของชุมชนที่สร้างรายได้ทุกปี
มีหลายคนนะ มีหลายคนที่แบบเคยล้วงลูกนกเคยดักนกเคยลากไม้ตัดไม้มาร่วมงานโครงการกับเราว่าใครที่มีรังนกเนี่ยให้มันแจ้งกับเราโดยที่เราจะมีค่าตอบแทนให้ใครมีรังนกแจ้งเราก็จะจ่ายค่าตอบแทนให้แล้วก็ให้ก็เก็บข้อมูลให้เรามีแต่คนยินดีทั้งนั้นเลยฮะไม่มีใครอยากทำผิดกฎหมายฮะ
การเปลี่ยนชาวบ้านจากผู้ล่าให้กลายมาเป็นทีมคนซ่อมรังแห่งเทือกเขาบูโดเป็นการแก้ปัญหาและอนุรักษ์นกเงือกในคราวเดียว
เราจะพบว่าในปัจจุบันเนี่ยนกที่ใช้โพรงธรรมชาติกับนกที่ใช้ที่เราซ่อมเนี่ย50-50นั่นหมายความว่าถ้าปีนี้ในพื้นที่ที่เราวิจัยอยู่เนี่ยมีนกสำเร็จประมาณ100คู่นั่นหมายความว่าครึ่งหนึ่งเนี่ยเป็นนกที่ได้มาจากการจัดการโพรงรัง
2 ปีผ่านไปหลังการปรับปรุงโพรงรังถือว่าเป็นช่วงเวลาที่สั้นมากที่ความฝันของคนซ่อมรังกลายเป็นความจริงแม้จะยังไม่เห็นตัวชัดเจนแต่ความเคลื่อนไหวภายในโพรงและของเสียที่ถูกขับถ่ายออกมาบอกเล่าการมีอยู่ของสิ่งมีชีวิตเป็นความสำเร็จแบบทันตาเห็น
ก็ภูมิใจตัวเองว่านกมันเข้าอ่ะ
กลุ่มนักวิจัยที่เก็บข้อมูลตลอด30 ปีทำให้พวกเรารู้ว่านกเงือกมีชีวิตอย่างไรสำคัญกับป่าแค่ไหนพวกเขายังคงซ่อนตัวอยู่ในเงาไพรคอยซ่อมแซมโพรงรังโดยหวังเพียงว่าให้มีนกเงือกเพียงพอไม่น้อยไปไม่ขาดหายเพราะความเป็นเมืองบีบรัดพื้นที่ป่าเข้ามาทุกด้านและนกเงือกคือกุญแจสำคัญที่จะสร้างป่าภายในพื้นที่จำกัดนั้นให้เป็นป่าที่สมบูรณ์เป็นอาหารเป็นต้นน้ำเป็นอากาศบริสุทธิ์ให้กับทุกชีวิตและสิ่งมีชีวิตที่ได้รับประโยชน์สูงสุดก็คือมนุษย์นั่นเอง
Yes. So, oh, someone say like a love. Thank you. So after we listen, like we watch us for this video, just 10-minute talk, show, but actually we still have some like a more versions. So if we publish on YouTube or any some media social or something, I would love to share. I will share to all the panel here in by your email or something. So for the people like the very important person who support us to help us to publish this media. So I would love to invite Kun Duang Dao to say something to the participant here. Thank you ค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะโครงการคนซ่อมรังเพื่อนกสร้างป่าเป็นโครงการที่สร้างขึ้นมาเพื่อการผลิตสื่อนำเสนอองค์ความรู้จากมูลนิธิศึกษาวิจัยนกเงือกซึ่งสามารถจะนำมาใช้ในการจัดการอนุรักษ์นกเงือกได้อย่างเป็นรูปธรรมเราได้เล็งเห็นแล้วว่าการซ่อมแซมโพรงรังของนกเงือกเป็นสิ่งที่สำคัญที่สุดสำหรับการอนุรักษ์นกเงือกและเป็นการเพิ่มประชากรนกเงือกนะคะเราจึงนำโครงการนี้ขึ้นมาพร้อมๆไปกับการสนับสนุนให้การซ่อมรังที่เขาใหญ่อุทยานแห่งชาติเขาใหญ่นะคะเกิดขึ้นโดยร่วมมือกับทางอุทยานแห่งชาติเขาใหญ่ และพร้อมกันนี้หน้าที่ของเราก็คือการผลิตสื่อสารคดีวิดิทัศน์ชุดคนซ่อมรังเพื่อนกสร้างป่าเพื่อรณรงค์ให้เกิดความรู้ความเข้าใจและสร้างความร่วมมือให้กับกรมอุทยานสัตว์ป่าและพันธุ์พืชในการอนุรักษ์และเพิ่มประชากรนกเงือกอย่างยั่งยืนสารคดีชุดคนซ่อมรังเพื่อนกสร้างป่านำเสนอวงจรชีวิตของนกเงือกบนเขาใหญ่ผ่านการทำงานของคนซ่อมรังซึ่งดำเนินงานมาด้วยนักวิจัยของมูลนิธิศึกษาวิจัยนกเงือกนอกจากจะตื่นตาตื่นใจกับชีวิตของนกเงือกแล้วยังจะได้เห็นถึงความมุ่งมั่นเสียสละของทีมงานที่อยู่เบื้องหลังผู้ปิดทองหลังพระซึ่งสามารถจะสร้างแรงบันดาลใจให้กับคนซ่อมรังและนักอนุรักษ์นกเงือกรุ่นใหม่ได้เป็นอย่างดีทีมงานใช้เวลาถ่ายทำและผลิตสารคดีนี้มาแล้ว3 ปีและได้รับการสนับสนุนจากกองทุนพัฒนาสื่อปลอดภัยและสร้างสรรค์เพื่อให้เผยแพร่ออกไปในสื่อออนไลน์เพื่อการอนุรักษ์นกเงือกหลายช่องทางภายในสิ้นปี 2025 นี้นะคะช่องทางที่นำเสนอเป็นหลักก็คือ Facebook และ YouTube ของ Nature Explorer Thailand Facebook ของและ YouTube ของเก็บป่า Delivery Facebook และเพจของเขาใหญ่อุทยานแห่งชาติเขาใหญ่ Facebook Page ของมูลนิธินกเงือกนะคะในการนี้ก็อยากจะขอเชิญชวนให้สื่อมวลชนหน่วยงานและผู้เข้าร่วมประชุมทุกท่านร่วมกันเผยแพร่สื่อสารคดีชุดนี้เพื่อส่งเสริมการรณรงค์เพื่อการอนุรักษ์นกเงือกต่อไปขอเป็นเสียงภาคภาษาอังกฤษนะคะเพื่อจะส่งไปให้ผู้ประชุมที่อยู่ต่างประเทศมีคลิปนั้นมันแปลเรียบร้อยค่ะมันพูดลงเสียงแล้วเรียบร้อยได้เลยจะได้ไม่ต้องเสียเวลาอ่านสคริปต์
All right, we have English version to share her thought for you guys. So please wait for a bit and we will deliver the English version. Yes. Yeah, in the meantime, the documentary that you have just watched has the team has spent more than 3 years to shoot the shot of the team who fixed the nest and then create the media and with the hope to help spread the work that we have done in support the conservation of Hornbill. Okay, for this media production project is developed in collaboration with the Hornbill Research Foundation in Thailand, focusing on the practical approaches to hornbill conservation, specifically by repairing hornbill nests. This hand-on initiative is a step toward ensuring a brighter future for hornbill. The project also features a series of video stories titled People Repairing Nests, Bird Building Forests. This story aims to promote knowledge and understanding why forester collaboration with the Department of National Park, Wildlife and Plant Conservation to support the conservation and sustainable growth of hornbill population. The documentary series People Repairing Nests, Bird Building Forests is a powerful tool for raising awareness about the life cycle of hornbills and the conservation effort of the Hornbill research team. This series not only to showcase the remarkable life of Hornbill, but also provide insight into the dedication and sacrifice made by the team working behind the scene. They often untold stories serve as inspiration for new generation of nest repairer and Hornbill conservationists. The production team has been filming this documentary for 3 years, and the support of the Media Development Fund for Safety and Creativity. We aim to publish it online by the end of 2025 to promote Hornbill conservation through various channels, including the Facebook and YouTube of the Nature Explorer Thailand, Facebook and YouTube of Keppa Delivery, Facebook of Keppa Delivery, the Facebook of Khao Yai National Park, and of the Hornbill Research Foundation. About this, we would like to invite all media outlets, agency and participants to collaborate in promoting Hornbill conservation by sharing this documentary series. Your participation is essential for raising awareness and encouraging action to protect these magnificent birds. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sharida, for your kindness translate to English for us. So for the next schedule, I would love to share you the program for us again. So now after we listen, we watching the story from the legacy from the Dr. Pillai, and then now we watch the media about the Hornbill nest management in Thailand. So for the next program, this is the program that you see on the screen, and we plan to do the general discussion in the last one. So sorry that we don't have much time for you to more discussion now. Maybe if we still have time, we can give 1 or 2 questions, but maybe we can keep in the last session for the general discussion. So for the next topic, I would like to invite อาจารย์ชาลิตา from Hornbill Research Foundation to presenting about the promotion of nest management strategies for an effective and viable Hornbill population in Thailand. So please welcome. ได้ค่ะทำยังไงคะ
Good morning, everyone online around the world. And good morning, everyone in this room. My name is Chalita Kongrit from Thailand Hornbill Research Foundation. And today I will be presenting the effectiveness of the nest management that promote reproductive success of Hornbill in Thailand. Our team, the Thailand Hornbill Project, we have the team that dedicate for Hornbill research and conservation for a long time, for over 40 years, in collaboration with Kasetsart University, the National Park Wildlife and Plant Conservation in Thailand, and also other organizations. For Hornbill, their breeding behavior is crucial for long-term conservation since the female, they have a very unique reproductive behavior. Female will seal herself inside a nest cavity and imprison herself during the brooding period. The microclimate inside the nest cavity provide a suitable and stable condition for both the mother and the chick, and also provide protection from the predator when the female and the chick live inside the nest cavity until the chick is ready and strong enough to go out of the nesting cavity. But for hornbill, their beak is not strong enough to excavate their own nest, so they have to rely on the nest cavity that is created from the natural processes like the rotten fungi, woodpecker, and bear. So the availability of the suitable nest cavity is a limiting factor that directly affect the reproductive success of hornbill in natural habitat. Our research began more than 40 years ago in 1978 in Khao Yai National Park, Thailand. Right now, we have 2 study areas inside Khao Yai National Park in the western side and in the eastern side. We carry out intensive research in Hoi Kha Kheng Wildlife Sanctuary in the Western Forest Complex and also in Budo Sungai Padi in southern part of Thailand to ensure that we cover the conservation of all 13 species of hornbill in Thailand. Here is the beginning of the story. The first story begin in Khao Yai National Park. Let me use the laser pointer. Okay, here is the picture taken from 78. And we first have the systematic data record since 1981. For over 4 decades of hornbill study, we provide important knowledge on hornbill biology and ecology, especially the breeding ecology, because it's a crucial strategy for their viable population. They mainly use the large tree in pristine forest for their breeding. For example, the Dipterocarpus and Crystal Calyx that have the DBH of over 100 centimeter in Khao Yai National Park. Since the, okay, oh, sorry. Allow or don't allow? Okay. The research from our project also provide the characteristic of suitable nest that hornbill use. The size of nest entrance is approximately 12 to 25 centimeter, depending on the size of the hornbill. The cavity depth should be around 45 centimeter, cavity width of 40 centimeter, height of ceiling of over 1 meter, and the level of floor should be between 5 to 15 centimeter below the lower edge of the entrance. This is a very specific nest characteristic that is suitable for breeding success of the hornbill. Due to the limitation of suitable nest cavity in nature, that lead to nest competition for both interspecific competition with other species and also intraspecific competition of the same species that require the cavity for nesting during the breeding seasons. The previous study showed that the competition for nest cavity was as high as 40% of the cavity available in Khao Yai National Park. And this short video clip show the, I try to click this. Okay, sorry for the technical problem, but this video clip, oh, okay, it's come here. Yeah, it shows the nest competition between 2 species of hornbill. First, the great hornbill come to inspect the nest. Yeah, and the female is not okay with that. Maybe the cavity is too small. Later on, the red hornbill come and check. And yes, the female get inside the nest. So this is one example of the nest competition in Khao Yai National Park because of the limited number of suitable natural cavity. Beyond the nest competition, the natural nest cavity usually deteriorate over time from weather, so the one suitable nest can become unsuitable. For example, the nest entrance might be narrower or closed due to the healing process of the plant itself, the sunken nest floor, lack of an appropriate perch in front of the nest for the male to come and perch and then feed female and the chick inside the nest cavity. Sometimes the water accumulate inside the cavity so the bird cannot use it. Sometimes we found unwanted cavity opening and the nest entrance sometimes is too large for the bird to use. So in 1993, we start doing nest management with the hope to facilitate and enhance the breeding success of Hornbill in Khao Yai National Park. We regularly inspect the abandoned nest and also the nest that bird already used. And what we do is we repair and improve the nest. The differences between nest repair and nest improvement is that for the nest repair, we refurbish or fixing the bad nest cavity. It is the nest that bird has already used, but we want to maintain the suitable condition for the bird to use in the next year. So we repair it. Repair the nest that bird already used. But for the nest improvement, we seek for the potential tree cavity that the bird never used this cavity before, but it had potential that if we improve it a little bit to become more suitable, the bird can be able to use this cavity as the nesting site. So we have two types of nest management, the nest repair and nest improvement. Nest management usually start after the fledging season when the mother and the chick leave the cavity already. The team go to the nesting site and then climb up the tree, checking whether the nest is still in good condition or not. If the condition is not suitable, so they fix the tree just like you watch in the media. Here is the example of the nest repair strategy. For the problem like sunken floor, we fill them with the soil. For the opening that is closed or become narrower, we enhance them. And for the nests that have accumulated water, we create a drainage system to drain out the water and let it dry and then fill in the soil to make sure that the floor is strong and stable. Here is the example of nest improvement. We found that this tree could be a potential nest cavity, but the floor is too low and the opening is very large. I'm sure that Hornbill cannot seal this large entrance. So what we did is we fill in the floor to make it at a suitable level of the floor, and then modify the entrance by mimicking the nest entrance size and shape that found in the natural tree cavity. This picture shows an installing of perching branch in front of the entrance, so the male bird can perch on these perching branches. And if we found the unwanted cavity opening, we close them. And after the modification, we have the evidence that the bird come and use both repair and improve nest and help increase the nesting success every year. So the first nest management start in Khao Yai National Park. Here in Khao Yai National Park, we have data record since 1981, but the first nest repair start in 1993, and on the next year, the bird come to use the repair nest and they successfully give the new fledging. And this graph, okay, it's delayed a little bit, sorry. This graph show the proportion of fledging success by nest type. The x-axis show the year of data record. The y-axis show the number of fledging success by nest type, and each bar here represent the total number of nest seeds. For the color, the blue color represent the number of natural cavity that contribute to the fledgling success represent in the blue color. Okay, sorry for the technical problem. Okay, come back to my graph. Each bar represents the total number of nest seal. The portion in blue color is the natural nest cavity that contribute to the fledgling success. The orange one is the repair nest, and the yellow one is the improved nest. For both improved and repair nest together with the natural nest cavity, it contributes to the fledgling success of up to 95% fledgling success. However, you can see that the graph vary through across the year because the I'm sorry, the breeding success, the successfulness of the bird in each breeding season not solely depends on the nest quality, but also the resource available in the forest in that year. For this graph, you can show that the bird continue using the improve and the repair nest. And during the last 10 years, we noticed that more than 50% of them use the repair and the improved nest. But it doesn't mean that they abandon and don't use natural nest cavity. But for the natural nest cavity that show unsuitable condition, we repair them. So those nests become the repair nest. But I just want to point out that once we improve and repair the nest, the bird come back and use those nests and result in higher fledgling success each year. This graph shows the number of fledgling and nest type. So the x-axis is year of data record. The bar chart show the number of fledgling each year, and the blue line represent the number of natural nest cavity that contribute to the fledgling success. The orange line is the repair and improved nest that contribute to fledgling success. You can see that during the last 10 years, the bird use more of the repair and improved nest rather than the natural nest. But our team still seek for the potential nest and will improve them. In Khao Yai East, which is another study site in Khao Yai National Park as well, we start the nest repairment in 2008, and the result shows similar trend as in the eastern part of Khao Yai National Park. But what interesting is that in Khao Yai East, the forest type are different from the Khao Yai West, and the bird here in the eastern part of this national park, more than half of them, the new fledgling each year, they are from the repair and improved nest. And I would like to point out that the improved nest, the improvement process is very important because all this cavity, the bird never used before, but once we improve them, they come and use this improved nest to increase their breeding success. And together with the natural nest cavity, all nesting type contribute up to 100% fledgling success. Like in this year, there is no gray color, which means that every bird that seal the nest and we check them, 100% of them successfully give the new fledgling. This graph also show the same trend as in the Khao Yai West. And we also have a study site in Hoi Kha Keng Wildlife Sanctuary. We first record the data in 1991, but first nest repairment is implemented in 2003. And here is the graph. We implement nest repair in 2003. So in the next year, the bird come and use those repair nests and contribute up to 100% of fledgling success. And in Hoi Kha Keng Wildlife Sanctuary, there are various habitat type, and the repair and improve nest significantly contribute to fledgling success. Without all this bird, this nesting type, maybe only 50% of fledging success may occur. And this also shows the same trend of the proportion of the nest, the natural nest, and also the repair and improve nest that contribute to the new chick each year. Besides the nest management, we also use artificial nest to help increase breeding success. The artificial nest made of wood, fiber, or using the old wine barrel. For the fiber nest here is designed by Dr. Chakon from Silpakorn University. And we install this artificial nest in the protected area in southern part of Thailand, or what we call that this place is called Budo Sungai Padi National Park. At Budo, in the past, before 1994, we faced the challenge of habitat loss and distribution, illegal logging, and illegal hunting for chick to sell in the black market. Because of the logging problem, so a large tree is quite limited in this area. So the artificial nest is an alternative method to help increase breeding success of birds in this national park. To cope with that challenge, we need additional strategy of the social engagement to ask for collaboration from local people to help us collect the data and also help protect their forests and their biodiversity there. We transfer knowledge to them and then turn the poacher to become a protector of Hornbill. And with collaboration of the local people and our research team, we help, besides doing research, we help doing installing of the artificial nest. And let's see the result. The first nest repairment occurred in 1999 and artificial nest was first installed in 2003. And the results show that here is 2003. We first installed the artificial nest, but the bird take 2 years before they first used the artificial nest in 2006. It take 2 years, maybe because the artificial nest look like the strange thing for them, not natural thing, so they need to become familiar. But once they use it, it's promised the bird that they will have the high fledging success. In this study area, you can see that in the last 10 years, the fledging success is contributed by natural nest cavity, the repair and improved nest, and also the artificial nest. And in some year, the fledging success increased up to 100%. This graph show the bar graph is the number of fledging, and the line show different type of nest. The pink line here is the number of artificial nests that help contribute to fledging success. And for each year, artificial nests contribute 1 to 6 chicks per year, accounting for 3 to almost 20% of the fledging success per year. And once the female use artificial nest, when she get inside the nest and seal herself inside the artificial nest, is assured that her reproductive success can increase up to 100%. The efficiency of artificial nest range between 50 to 100%, but I would say that most of the time the efficiency is around 70 to 100%. The 50% here is because on that year there are only 2 birds sealed to artificial nest and 1 failed, so the percent become 50. This table summarizes the effectiveness of the nest management from our long-term data across 4 study sites, 2 sites in Khao Yai and 1 in Hoi Kha Khang and the other one in Budo, showing the range of year from the year that we first doing the nest management until the present time, and also show the number of accumulate number of chicks since we first doing nest management. In some protected area like national park where the forest is in good condition, the fledgling success contribute by natural nest cavity alone could raise up to 80%. But I would like you to looking at the overall picture after we do the nest repairment and improvement. The management technique help contribute largely in the reproductive success of bird, and also the artificial nest also help contribute 3 to almost 20% of the fledgling success. Well, in conclusion, the natural cavity provides suitable nesting cavity for the bird, but over time, the natural cavity will become deteriorate and there will become unsuitable condition for the nesting condition of the hornbill. Our long-term data for 30 to 40 years have showed the evidence that nest repair and improvement are the effective management strategy that significantly contribute to fledgling success of hornbill across our 4 study sites. And our team will continue searching for new nests, improve them, and also repair the nests that birds have already used to ensure the successful of their breeding success and ensure their viable population size. Furthermore, artificial nests can serve as an alternative strategy in the area where large trees are scarce. We would like to thank for the research team, the field research, and also the administrative team for their dedication in the hornbill conservation in Thailand, and also express the thanks to our generous sponsor and organization that always supports us in doing this conservation. And thank you for your attention, and all questions are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you ค่ะ maybe we can get some like one questions I think gonna be possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can turn on the microphone and ask, or you can type question through the chat box.
One questions from Yanisar asks about, are there any areas of the research that needs more attention currently?
Yeah, maybe I ask the field research team. Yeah, in your opinion, are there any area that need more attention? Because in Khao Yai and Hoi Kha Khang, I think we do very well in those areas because they are protected area.
เดี๋ยวสำหรับความคิดเห็นของผมนะผมว่ามันน่าจะโฟกัสไอ้ชนิดที่มันหายากใกล้สูญพันธุ์
Okay, thank you, Pikalip. So for the area, because most of them live in protected area, the protection is quite okay. But what the field research team suggests is focusing more on particular species like the helmeted hornbill or the brown hornbill, that they are smaller size, and for some elusive species that they are very difficult to find and to see because the information may be not enough for the effective management for some species.
We have 2 more questions, but maybe we can keep these 2 questions because it's gonna be more discussion in the future, I think. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ka. So I think it's the time that we are ready to hear the next story.
May I suggest that we can answer the question in the chat box? Okay, after this.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn Vichak. So I see 2 more questions about this topic. Okay, why While there's some species prefer the repair nest than natural nest, I would say that they don't prefer the repair nest more. But once the natural nest become unsuitable, we fix them and repair them to become suitable again. So when the bird come and choose the nest, when the natural cavity is not suitable, they don't use it. And when they come and check the repair nest, the condition is good and suit for their needs. So they choose to use the repair nest. Reduction in the number, in what extent is that the
Maybe you can type in the answer in the question in the chat box. So we're gonna go to the next presenter on the successful Hornbill nest enhancement through collaborative management at the Six Sense Resort เกาะยาวน้อย like after we listen about the story about the hornbill in the protected area, we're gonna move to the more artificial and also more in the private area, more private area. So I'm not sure, Kun Malini, are you ready to presenting? You're gonna present to share your slide, or you want me to help you to share your slide?
สวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์จอย could you please share your slide for me? Did you hear me for loudly or is there any clearly noise or loud enough?
Yeah, the sound very good. You can
All
keep.
right.
Thank you.
All right. สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning and good evening for everyone. My name is Malini Lauha Bulanakit, but you can call me June. I am a sustainability director at Six Senses Yao Noise, and truly honored to be with you today. Here to share a story of collaborations, innovations, and commitment. It's story of how luxury hotels can become a key partner of conservation. We call it from hotel beams to Hornbill homes, a blueprint of the conservations in hospitality. Next, please. For these who may not be familiar with us, Six Senses Yao Noi is nested in the heart of Thailand's particular Phang Nga Bay. While we offer the unique destination of our guests, our identities of deeply rooted in our value. Sustainability is one of our core brand pillar. And our guiding vision is to help people reconnect themselves, others, and the nature around them. This vision carry with our profound sense of responsibility to protect and preserve our local environment and its biodiversity. This commitment is laid the groundwork for the program I am so proud to show with you today. Please, next slide. All right, we start with the why Hornbill, then our forest farmer and the partnerships The star of the story is the magnificent bird, the oriental pie hornbills. We can also call them the nokgak. This present is more than just beautiful sight and is key indicator to thrive balanced ecosystem. They are known as the farmer of the forest. As visual seeds dispenser, they are absolutely essential for generating the health of our forest resorts. And however, the crucius of birds face critical threats. They reside entirely in large natural tree cavities for nesting. And with the habitats loss in increased disturbance from regional tourism's growth, their natural homes are vanishing, create several bottlenecks with their survivors. Next, please. The recognized challenge back to 2016. We know we could not stand by, but we also know we could not solve it alone. This led us for a long-standing partnership with the Thailand Hornbill Research Foundation. This scientific expert combined with our on-the-ground research create the foundations and proactive collaboration management program. Next. How we build the purpose for the timber of the Hornbill home. Our mission was clear: to increase hornbill nest opportunity and help the conserve these populations. Our strategy was to combine natural nest monitor with the installations of carefully designed artificial nests. The innovation began with our own resorts. The first 8 nets of the program were crafted from heavy repurposed timber from resource renovations. It was sustainability in action, turning the potential waste into the lifeline. We installed 5 nets of this in the resource ground and provide 3 to the local community exchange project reach beyond our property lines. There was not just the box. Its design is based on the research, scientific research, mimic the pitches size, depth, and the orientals of the natural cavity of the hornbill prefer. The placement is equally critical. We strategically locate the nest in preserved habitat away from high traffic area to minimal any human disturbance. And the work doesn't end of this install. Is upkeep essential to delicate landscape and engineer team to regular monitoring, maintain the nets, ensure they remain safe and viable for home for breeding pairs. This integrate in daily operation is a key success. For this slide, now for the result, that's to show that impact the collaboration's effort that over the next 3 breeding seasons from 2023 to 2025, our program has a yield remarkable outcome. We currently have the 28 artificial nests deployed across the properties. Of course, the finest were occupied by breeding hornbill pair, and the most exciting number of all, that's the finest we have created the 40 healthy chicks successful pledging and joining our local populations. As you can see the map in the right hand side, sorry, this is the last, yes. The green dot, the highlight that's occupied. This is the area of the resort. The right hand side of the resort, and the left hand side you see the green dot is in the host village and our accommodations. And you see the dot is the occupied one, and the visual presentations show healthy distribute and demonstrate real world application and our conservation strategy across the resort. Next, please. And our survey in last year, that we found a lot of the hornbill in entire of our resorts that show in the host village as well, and show in most of them in the resort, like residents in our hotels. Next, please. But effective long-term conservation is not just about the nest, it's about the people. We are deeply committed to engage heart of minds. Our guests, we offer the natural walk and education sections, and we have the in-villa hornbill mascot named Nong Nok. It share this story. Our commitment and outreach is just as important. We partner with local school, hosting visit and workshop inspired and love for nature and a sense of stewardship in the next generations. We are working to build our true culture of conservation. In the presentation, there's the Thailand Research Foundation, Thailand Hornbill Research Foundation, they educate us from 2017, and the left hand side, the picture is just last year educating again. We have a really long relationship with Thailand Hornbill Research Foundations. This entire, next please. For the entire initiative, we can see the our sales sustain cycle, our blueprint of the hospitalities led conservations. It starts with the commitment of the resort resources, which enable us to leverage scientific expertise from our partners. This is led direct conservation actions with turn to the fuels, meaningful guests, and community engagement. And this engagement create value reinforced of the resource commitment, bringing a full cycles. This, you can see our resource provide the Nong Nok, that is the mascot, that is provide in our villa. There's the statement show our protections, and if the guest buying this hornbill mascot is fully 100% go to the sustainability fund, and we serve the fund to our communication again. And the right hand side is we found the successful project in Got Yao Chai Pat Hospitality in last year. Next, please. Last but not least, in the conclusion is our success in building a few key pillars: genuine commitment of our leaderships are strong partner with research organizations of the full integrate of program into our daily operation and landscape in and engineering, but the work is not done. We work continue by 2027. We aim to implement even more targeted conservation plan to protect key habitats and other priority native species on the islands. Our ultimate vision is to see the ecosystem both Yao Noi and our its sister island that Yao Yai restore and sustain through community-led conservation guided by the strong local leaderships. And now that I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and I would like to extend my deeply gratitude to Thailand Hornbill Conservation Foundations and our entire team of Six Senses Yao Noi. I am happy to answer any question if you may have. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you very much for your amazing presentation, and I'm so happy to see this successful of the work that the hard work that you have done. So maybe we have time for a few questions. So if you have question, you can turn on the microphone and ask or type through the chat box. Okay, I have one question. So for this project, are there any local people involved or volunteer for this program, maybe monitoring the bird or join the artificial nest installation?
Absolutely. They are the leaders of this program. They come with the Hornbill Research Foundations, and they're asking us to build the nest for in the entire of resort. They are the first beginning for us, the pillar, the pioneer, and now we have estimate more than is almost 100 nests around the Yao Noi Islands, artificial nests. That is contributed by another partner, communications, governments, and so on. That is very great contributions and community engagement very strong.
Wow, that's very nice. So when you install the nest, you install in your resort area or outside is okay for the
yes. That is very iconic, the nest, because we are the research with the natural is the particular sites, and our resort area that is we have a lot of for the existing we have a lot of palm tree, rubber tea and palm tea, and the tree that's with very strong and high, and we have the particular equipment to climb up the tree and installations that's very well, and sometimes the community asking us to helping them to install in their communities as well.
Wow, that is really good. Okay, let me check the question from chat box.
I think it's not.
Okay. So if there is more question in chat box, we will save it and then use that question for our discussion in the later session. Okay. Thank you, ค่ะ คุณ Malini. Yeah, I really enjoy your talk. So we move to the next topic about the artificial hornbill nest development and conservation use on Yao Noi Island in Thailand. So this topic will be presented by Kun Yanin Tangkarawakun.
ค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Could I share my screen ค่ะ Can you see my screen clearly?
Yes, I see your presentation on screen already.
Okay ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning everyone. My name is Yanin Tangkalakun, or you can call me Proud. I'm 16 years old from Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm currently a rising 11th grader studying at Rosemary Hall in the US. I'm excited today to share the development and use of a new artificial nest on Yao Noi Island. My interest in hornbill started on a 4th grade field trip to Khao Yai National Park, where I was fortunate enough to experience and see the hornbills for the first time, and also learn their vital role in the forest. Years later, in 2024, I learned that hornbill populations were significantly declining, and that there was an urgency to help save these hornbills. So weeks later, I returned to Khao Yai National Park Forest under the guidance of Miss Siriwan Nakuntot from the Hornbill Research Foundation. And there I learned the critical need for more nesting sites. And from Miss Siriwan, I learned the artificial nests and their drawbacks. The first type of nest is the wood nest. The wood nest typically lasts around 2 to 3 years in Thailand's tropical conditions and constantly needs to be replaced. As a result, this contributes to deforestation, which also harms the habitats of these hornbills. The next type of nest is the earthen jars. This jar was discovered to use by the people of Yao Noi Island, and they discovered that the hornbills began inhabiting these jars. However, the dimensions of these jars proved to be not good for these chicks because they hindered the ability of the chicks to learn how to fly. The next type of nest is the fiberglass nest, which is more durable when compared to the wood nest and typically lasts around 10 to 20 years. However, this type of nest had a drawback, which was that over time, fiberglass irritates the hornbills and is not safe for these birds and can cause harm. So while artificial nests have become an important conservation tool, I found that current designs often fall short in either durability, environmental friendliness, or safetyness. And this gap is what inspired me to start my project, Homes for Hornbills. Last summer, I worked alongside researchers from the TOA Resin Laboratory as well as the Hornbill Research Foundation in Thailand to investigate the use of natural fibers instead of glass fiber. The first test we did was the wetting test, which is to determine the absorbability of the natural fibers. We determined that of the natural fibers, hemp sac, pineapple fiber, sea salt fiber, banana fiber, water hyacinth, and jute fiber showed the best wetting results. However, coconut fiber had poor wetting results, and as a result, we didn't continue testing this because coconut fiber was difficult to use and wasn't uniform. And from the fibers that we determined to have good wetting properties, some of these fibers needed to be woven, which complicates their use. However, hemp sac was the most effective because the form it came in was already woven, and it was also least costly. However, in the following tests, we will still be considering the natural fibers that still have good wetting properties. The next tests compose of the mechanical test, which composes of the 3-point bending test as well as the Sharpie impact test. The 3-point bending test is essentially to determine the material's ability to resist bending and deformation. And in the artificial nest case is to determine whether the artificial nest could withstand the weight of the hornbills and its chicks without bending and deforming. And we found that of the different natural fibers, the different fibers had varying max loads and flexural strength. And of all these fibers, hemp fiber and pineapple fiber demonstrated the greatest flexural strength. However, hemp fiber will be used in the following studies because hemp fiber was least costly when compared to pineapple fiber. The next test we did was the Sharpie impact test, which is used to determine the composite material's ability to withstand impact. And in the artificial nest side is to determine whether the artificial nest can withstand the impact that is caused by the hornbills, specifically when the hornbill seals the nest entrance. And the results show that hemp fibers showed comparable results to walnut wood, as you can see on the graph, and it showed better results than pine wood as well. The overall results show that of these natural fibers, hemp sack showed the best properties. However, the impact strength of hemp sack was not comparable to that of glass fiber, but it was comparable to that of wood. However, we wanted to make the properties of the impact strength of hemp sack comparable to glass fiber. As a result, we used layering. So through increasing layering of the hemp sack fiber, we would increase the strength against the impact. But with an increase in layers, there would be an increase in weight. So we had to optimize the number of layers of hemp sack used and determine that 6 layers was the best. Next, we did the weathering test, which is used to determine the durability of the nest. Essentially, the weathering test is used to determine the resistance to degradation from sunlight, rain, and humidity in outdoor environments. And this is done to ensure that artificial nests stay strong and safe for long periods. And in this test, we compared the hemp fiber composites to the conventional glass fiber composites. And we found that the hemp fiber composites last over 4,000 hours without deformation, which proves that it will last over 10 years in the natural environment. The last test we did was the ventilation test. And the purpose of this test is to study whether the materials used would affect the temperature, heat accumulation, and humidity. And we did this by comparing our artificial nest with the wooden nest. And the results show that the difference of the nest temperature between the wooden and composite nest is around 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. This past breeding season, in the beginning of the year, 9 artificial nests were installed on Yau Noi Island, and 6 artificial nests were used and 9 chicks were born. In addition to creating homes for hornbills, I believe that raising awareness is essential for conservation. This past March, I went to Yau Noi to educate students at Ba Nam Jut School about the importance of hornbills, their role of the ecosystem, as well as the importance of artificial nests. I also taught them specific words and phrases in English to help them develop their English skills, as well as help them potentially communicate with tourists. In addition, I also worked with these students on a storybook activity to help empower them to become storytellers. And this activity was done through helping them brainstorm, and then they planned their own storybook, and then they created and illustrated their own program. This August, I will be returning to Ba Nam Jut School to launch a new program along with community members to educate students from 1st grade to 6th grade, and there will be over 60 students about these hornbills. Over the past year, we've been able to test and install nests that are not only durable and safe for these birds, but also more environmentally friendly through the use of natural composites. The next steps of this project will be led by Associate Professor Dr. Supagit Sutirung Wong and Silpakorn University. And we will be working to change the unsaturated resin component to become even more environmentally friendly through the use of bio-based resin and recycled PET. Thank you to TOA Venture Holding, Ms. Supon Leela Tasanathon, Ms. Hathai Leekmek, the Thailand Hornbill Research Foundation, Ms. Siriwan Nakuntot, and Mr. Chakon Pasuwan for their guidance and support throughout this project. I would also like to thank the community on Yaonoi for welcoming me and working alongside me with such care and commitment. Together, I believe we can create real change, not only for their hornbills, but also for the communities connected to them. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for your amazing project and amazing presentation. Yeah, people encourage you to keep going on this. Any question from the floor and audience online and in the room? Okay, maybe I have one question about the ventilations. When you test the ventilation, yeah, it seems that the hem sac is provide good ventilation inside the nest, right? Yeah,
Yes.
if you check for the stable condition, I'm not sure that with the good ventilation, can it help maintain the stable condition inside the nest throughout the breeding season?
Yes, with good ventilation of the hem sac, it will maintain good ventilation throughout the breeding season. And we did this test by putting it out in pure sunlight and not under shade, so it will be even better ventilation in the actual breeding season.
So the temperature also quite stable as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe
Does anyone have? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Because
does any?
in Thailand, we also have the participant located in the room. So we also have the new student, like the young one. Maybe you can share any if you want, maybe later. Yeah. Or anyone wanna get comments and
So thank you for your wonderful project. So we'll go to the next presenter. Thank you, Khayanin.
Thank you.
So may I introduce the next presenter, Justin McBano. The topic is artificial nest implementation and success in the Bayawan Nature Reserve. Sorry if I pronounce incorrectly, in Philippines.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Just checking to see if my audio and video is working.
Yeah, the sound is good.
All right, I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so is the PowerPoint on now? Let's see.
Yes, it's on the screen now.
All right. Okay, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Justin Magbanwa, and I'm the manager for the Bayawan Nature Reserve, which is on Negros Island in the Philippines. So this morning I'll be talking about the artificial nest implementation and success in the Bayawan Nature Reserve. And the hornbill species I'll be talking about is the one featured on the title page, which is the Visayan Tarictic hornbill. And one of the hornbills we have the only hornbill we have in the nature reserve as of the moment. So a brief introduction to us as a foundation. So we are the Talarak Foundation. conceptualized in 2010. We conserve endemic and endangered wildlife in the West Visayas region of the Philippines. And currently we have 2 captive sites and 1 in situ conservation area, which is the Baiwan Nature Reserve. Our main goals, especially for our in situ work, is to identify remaining forest patches on the island of Negros and to maintain high native biodiversity. Next is to conduct ecological and environmental studies on biodiversity and related species held in our centers. And the third is to bolster wild populations through conservation translocations. So releases of captive bred or relocated individuals into new wild locations absent of populations for those species. So basically areas where there used to be these species, but currently there are none. So our main 5 animals or our focal species for the foundation are what we call the West Visayas Big Five. So we have the spotted deer, the Negros bleeding heart, the Visayan warty pig, and we have 2 hornbills, the rufous-headed hornbill, and the Visayan terrictic hornbill. So next, we'll be talking about the nature reserve. So as mentioned earlier, we look for sites for possible translocation projects, and this was one. Quick background on the basically deforestation of Negros Island, which is here in the 1800s, we have almost 90 to 80% forest cover, primarily primary forest cover throughout the island. And by the late 1990s, we are down to about 10%. And these areas on the map are basically our 3 national parks on the island. So here we have the Baiwan Nature Reserve. It is a 300-hectare forested area on the southwestern portion of Negros Island. Here we have the outline of the reserve. And it was chosen as our release site as this area used to have hornbills. The locals still clearly remember what the hornbills looked like, but there was no existing population within this area. So a good candidate for reforestation activities as well as reintroduction of the animals. So reintroduction started in 2020 with releases of the deer and the warty pigs, as well as the terrictic hornbills. So during that time, we released 3 male Visayan terrictic hornbills and 1 Visayan terrictic hornbill, which were all captive bred and were transferred to the nature reserve and allowed to acclimatize for around 1 month before being released back into the wild. So our next box design, we have currently 1 next box design we used for the terrictic hornbills. Basically very similar to the nest box designs showed earlier. So the wooden ones and with the dimensions. And these are the these are the nest boxes that we use in our captive centers for breeding of the terrictic hornbills. And they have been very effective in captivity, and we decided to try them out in the reserve. This was because the forest in the reserve is very young. It is regrowth secondary forest. We don't have any mature trees to serve as, mature trees that have nest cavities in them. That's why we decided to supplement with nest boxes all over the reserve. And then we decided to trial out 1 new, more readily available and less expensive nest box design, which was more photos of the nest boxes out in the wild. And then here we have insides. This was left over after we checked when one of the hornbills fledged and they've left the nest. So all of the food items that they had inside the nest. And then this is the new trial design that we wanted to test out. It is a plastic tub, which we've modified and built with the same basically entrance as the other nest box. And we just decided to try this out to see if it's a more less expensive but same efficiency replacement for the alternative for the usual nest box design that we've used. And we've trialed out only one to see if it will work in the nature reserve, or if the hornbills will actually use it. So the tub is plastic, as you can see, but we have drilled ventilation holes as well as covered the outside with wood chips to make it more natural looking and not so foreign for the birds. So there it is during the first year of implementation. And then that's when the female has already sealed inside the nest box. That's another aerial view of the nest. So nesting success, the birds released in 2021 have already, the new hornbill nest box design was the first one they occupied. They did not go into the already tested wooden nest box. And this is where we had our first fledgling that grew up to be a mature adult and is still here in the nature reserve. And they used the new nest box design for the first year after they were released. And then here is the second nest box in 2023, which had 2 fledglings as well, successful fledglings. And then here we have another successful fledgling in last year. And this year, the new nest box design was used again. But unfortunately, the egg wasn't able to hatch. And here we see again the male feeding the female for this year's breeding season. And that's it. So basically sharing with you guys our trials on the nest box design that we already employ in our captive centers and a new nest box design that we came up with for use in our nature reserve. So thank you very much for listening. And if there are any questions, I guess if there's enough time, then maybe I can answer a few of them. Thank you very much.
Well, Justin, thank you very much. And I feel very happy to see the success of the new fletching from your project. So now we have one question from the chat box. What hornbill species that use the artificial nest?
So currently we only have one hornbill species in the nature reserve. That is the Visayan tarictic hornbill. Species name is Penelopides panini.
Okay, the Visayan. So what size of this species? The medium or small size?
It's a small sized hornbill.
I see. Because in Thailand, we have the Oriental pine hornbill, the small size one that, yeah, they are very adaptable and yeah, it's to increase their reproductive success is quite good. So there's one more question. What is the height of the nest from the ground when you install the nest box?
So we've tried to pick the oldest trees, so basically the tallest trees. Our lowest tree is at around 15 meters. And the tallest one, which we used to set up the new nest box design, was around 25 to 30 meters high.
Yeah, well, that's pretty tall. Just like you try to imitate like mimic the real height from the natural cavity. Okay, so more questions. An audience would like to know what used to cover the top. What
The tub.
material that you use to cover the tub?
Oh, so the tubs already come with a lid, which makes it easier for us to do maintenance and to check on the nest progress as well when there's the birds inside. So the lid is entirely removable and it comes pre-built.
Yeah, questions from the on-site. The artificial nest box look very natural. That's very good design. But I have a question that the selling a little bit too short, and it might impact the temperatures and humidity. Have you ever tried to investigate the inside environment, like temperatures and humidity?
Yes. So that's our next goal for the next upcoming breeding season is we're still looking for funders for funding so we can purchase data loggers so we can put temperature monitors inside the nest box. So basically what is going to happen is we're going to put 2 temperature loggers inside to see if there is to record basically all the parameters within the nest box and compare it to our existing new tested design.
I have a question. So, what were the challenges you had to overcome for the hornbills to accept the artificial nest?
The artificial nests, we had, well, basically the hornbills were already used to the nest design we had in captivity. The main problem was with the new nest box design, how to make it look as natural as possible and not to look like a foreign object in the forest, as mentioned earlier as well with the other nest box designs. If it's too foreign for the animals, it takes a while for them to get used to it. So that's why we decided to cover it with wood chips on the outside to make it look as natural as possible.
I have question.
Yes.
The first thing, I'm very happy when you move the entrance far from the brand when the female get the feces, not got on the brand. It very good because have the fungus or some ant come to the nest. And one question, how depth of the floor? I mean, from the lower entrance to the floor.
Okay. So for the existing nest box design we have, the depth from the bottom of the entrance to the base of the floor is around 11 centimeters.
I have one thing for invite. I think about the floor is 5 centimeter is suitable because that is small bird. Because I saw from your present, I saw the drop from the seed in the floor. It means that it's sunk from in the nature in Khao Yai. If we found so many seeds in the floor, it means it's sunken. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. We'll take note.
So there are some questions from the chat. When you install the nest, it's quite easy for human to spot. Are there any interfere from human?
So in our nature reserve, no, because the nature reserve is well, the entire nature reserve is fenced, the entire 300 hectares. And we also do community work with the locals who live inside and outside of the reserve.
So I see, because the next question is that is the nest installed within natural forest or nearby settlement?
So it's within, so there's nest boxes inside the forest as well as near, what you call this, human structures, near buildings as well.
I see, but not much interfere from human. Yeah.
No.
So, what type of material used in constructing your nest box?
So for the wooden nest box, so we use mahogany. So the 1 inch thick mahogany boards to basically construct the wooden nest boxes. And the new nest box design that we tried is, I think, made of PVC, a PVC tub. So PVC plastic.
Do you notice, are there any preference of the bird using the nest from different material?
So that's where that's where we're leading up to. We can't really say for now because there's only one PVC nest box and we've only started the release 3 years ago. So basically we plan to add more and then actually see if the animals have a preference of their own.
Yeah, I see. Okay, next question. Do you embed the nest floor? The nest floor,
So
any
the
material?
nest floor, I think what we put is wood chips, if I'm not mistaken, at the bottom. So it's not just bare wood or bare plastic.
I see. Okay. There is one question about when you put the camera trap right outside the nest near the entrance, right? Is that bother the male that come and feed the female?
So
The camera.
yeah. So what we've seen is birds pay no mind to the camera traps. That was basically one of the questions we also had. So we just decided we'll put the cameras, and if we see any change in behavior, we'll remove it. But as we kept on checking on the animals daily during the breeding seasons, we saw no uh, basically interference with the feeding behaviors of the males towards the females. The only problem we had is camera trap positioning, because if we position it right in front of the hole, when the female defecates, it covers the entire camera and we can't have any footage.
I see. Yeah, any more question from the room? Yeah, thanks for sharing the idea and the experience, Justin. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you as well.
Okay, now we are ready for the next presenter from Malaysia. The presenter is Rawinda Kaur. I'm not sure I pronounced your last name correctly. And the topic is about the artificial nest and natural nest.
Good morning, everyone. Can you see?
Yes, I can see you and can hear you clearly.
Okay, let me try to share my slides. Can everyone see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Firstly, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me for this very exciting morning. It's been really very interesting, hearing all the different talks. So my name is Ravinder Kaur. And a little bit about the organization that I set up with my husband. Gaia basically got its name because we named it after a Greek goddess, which means Earth, Mother Earth. And my hope is someday that Gaia will not only focus on hornbills, but maybe other animals as well. So we welcome different students to come and join us in research. So this is me, Ravinder, and I am the scientific director of Gaia. And together with my husband, we co-direct Gaia. And the thing about Sanjit is he's an excellent photographer. So most of the photos that you see in my presentation was taken by him. And he also helps fly the drones, which really helps when you're working with hornbills. So today I'm just going to share very generally. It's not very scientific. It's more of where we are. We're still trying a lot of things because it took us about three to 4 years to firstly get the climbing gear, to get the skills, the training, to, of course, all this means trying to get funding. So to actually start working in the canopy took a long time. So let me start off with this picture. So basically we have a program where we have appointed indigenous people as Hornbill Guardians. So we made them t-shirts that say Hornbill Guardians to try to inspire them to take care of the birds, go look for hornbill nests. And Zikri was working with us. And at that time, we were funded by the Disney Wildlife Conservation Fund. So this picture was taken in Terengganu in Kenyir. And Zikri and the Hornbill Guardians, they actually went into the forest and tried to look for hornbill nests or any cavities that could potentially be a nest for hornbills. And they actually found up to 37 cavities over 2 years. And in Borneo, I have a team that's among the local community. And my right-hand man is basically Halson Hassan. He has helped me during my PhD days, and he's still with me, 9 years going strong. I'm very, very grateful to him. And he's basically now managing and leading the team in Borneo when it comes to hornbill conservation and research, especially in Kinabatangan. So in Kinabatangan, we have 2 other boys working with us, Firdaus Aminin. He's the youngest in our team, and he's also learning the ropes, as they say. And we're very fortunate that we have a very good climber, very experienced climber on the next picture, which is Raihan. And he has been doing a lot of work with swiftlet nests in caves. So he's been learning how to climb in caves. And now he has joined us in the Hornbill project. So after so many years and finding the right people, we have 3 good climbers and we are able to do more work in the canopy, which took a long time to get to this point. So when it comes to making artificial nests, of course, we refer to what the Thailand Hornbill Project team has done and the measurements, especially the entrance, the diamond shape, we try to apply that. And we also put data loggers in natural nests. These are real hornbill nests. So we wanted to observe the temperature and humidity. And what we found that even though it was in the middle of the afternoon or early morning when it's much cooler, the temperature was very steady inside the natural nest cavity, around 24 Celsius to 26 Celsius. And the humidity was very high, above 80 to 90%, almost 100%. So this became the basis for us to try to recreate when it came to making artificial nests. So over the years, since 2013, we have been putting up artificial nests. And we have over 38 nest boxes in Borneo. And we have around 4 artificial nests in Peninsular Malaysia, the other part of Malaysia. So you can see there's so many different designs we have been trying. And of course, this is not something that Gaia does alone. We work with Hutan as well. And Hutan NGO actually started the Artificial Nest Box project in 2013. And they started with 5 nest boxes. And if you can see my cursor, this is their design, basically. So there are so many different designs that we experimented with. And this is also because we invited a lot of different people, and there was a lot of exchange of ideas. We had several zoos come down, Phoenix Zoo, Buval Zoo, Chester Zoo. They would come down and work with us to build different types of artificial nest boxes. And what we found, particularly with this nest box, so this nest box was wood, marine plywood, and we put a layer of sawdust to make it more natural. And this layer of sawdust was actually this idea was given to us by the zoos, actually by Phoenix Zoo. So it makes the box more natural. And what we found is this particular box, once we put it up on the camera traps, the visitations were faster, and there were also attempts to seal the box within a couple of months of putting this particular box up. This box had very low temperature, high humidity, and I will explain why that is because of the insulation material later on. And also the knobby shape, I think, was very appealing, especially to the wrinkle hornbill, because we never really saw much wrinkle hornbills come to diamond shape. We noticed they started visiting the ones with the knobby shape. This box, the sad thing about it is, of course, because of trying to achieve low temperature, high humidity, it is very heavy. It is 80 kilos. And it did not last long. Within 2 years, it started to rot away, and our knobby shape structure was made from cement. So it would fall off eventually. So this was not something that was very viable, though it was the most desired, we noticed, we observed among the hornbills. And of course, there are other animals that really like this particular design. And as you can see here, this red giant flying squirrel moved in within a month. In fact, when my climbers were actually setting up the box, this animal was on the tree watching them. So he just moved in right after, and she went on to have her babies. So this was the drawback of the knobby shape design. Of course, we were targeting helmeted hornbills. We have never seen helmeted hornbills visiting our nest boxes. We never caught them on camera traps. Who knows, maybe they did when the camera was not functioning or so forth. But yeah, this box was intentionally made this way for the helmeted hornbill, and it was placed quite near to a tree where a helmeted hornbill was nesting. So the other problems with this particular wooden box, though it is interesting that it had the low temperature and high humidity that we were trying to achieve, it was attracting this stingless bees to build their homes in. And I've read a paper on this, and stingless bees apparently prefer low temperature and high humidity conditions as well. So this is one of the most successful nest box that we have in Borneo, and it was created and put up by the Hutan team before my time. And this was put up in 2013, but it took many years. As the last few presenters spoke about, it takes time for the bird to trust the foreign structure. And it took about 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, for the bird to actually use it. There was 1 year prior, they actually start to seal it, but then they abandoned it. But once they were comfortable with the nest box, they would come back year after year. So this particular nest is situated like right by the river edge, river bank, and it was used 3 consecutive years. Then COVID happened, the pandemic, and of course we were all not allowed to travel and move around. And since then, this box has been lying empty. And we are not sure what has happened. And we also found that since COVID, in fact, many of our natural nests that were actually quite good, we've climbed them, we've checked their structure, they are in good condition, but they are also lying empty. So we're not sure what happened, what has changed from the time of 2020 to today. We are not seeing hornbills use as many boxes or natural nests as they used to. So this is the latest nest box design that we have decided to go with. And the thing about when you try so many different designs, it's very hard to run an experiment and see whether it's doing well. I mean, you should have one design, and basically then you can run a good experiment. So we decided, okay, we will focus on this particular design. And this, what we found with this particular box is that the great hornbills seem to gravitate to it within days of it being set up. And I understand from what the Thailand Hornbill Project team has done, whenever they put up artificial nests, great hornbills were the one that tend to nest in the structures. So there must be something about these birds that they seem to be very comfortable with artificial nests, and they are one of the first to visit the boxes. Also, of course, the oriental pied hornbill. And the other thing that I noticed about rhinoceros hornbill and great hornbills, they are very sensitive to the camera trap that we place facing the entrance, especially the males. That we get thousands of selfies, left, right, looking at the camera. And I realized that it's actually interrupting the hornbill's interest in the box. The female is very interested in the box usually, but the male is always very obsessed with the camera trap. So we try to put our camera traps for short periods, maybe about 2 months if possible, at the beginning outside the breeding season. But even the breeding season seems to be very hard to predict nowadays because the rains have changed a lot. So from all the 30, actually this is all the camera traps we have collected from 30 over nest boxes. And these are, of course, different designs. And we noticed that when it comes to species, oriental pied, bushy-crested hornbill, rhinoceros hornbill are the ones that come to visit. Very few wrinkles and, of course, very, very rare to see black hornbills visiting. Though in Kinabatangan, we have quite a lot of black hornbills. And they are age-preferring species. We see them a lot at the edges, but somehow they don't seem to be interested to come to our nest boxes. And we are unsure why. So I have here just a screen grab of a manual that we made. Basically, it's the manual of how we made our artificial nest. And I'm happy to share with anyone who is interested. You just send me an email and express your interest, and I will send you the manual for you to have a look at. I just want to be careful with these things. You never know. This can also be turned into a trap. You never know, right? So basically, what we are using right now is basically 2 plastic barrels. One is modified to fit inside the larger barrel. And that space between is what we put the insulation materials. And right now, trying to find the most inexpensive insulation material so we can make more boxes. We have been putting sawdust inside, wood chips. And wood chips, the good thing is when it's wet, it actually stays wet for quite a long time. So we have holes on the top. So when the rainwater comes, it will keep it moist. And we also do a lot of maintenance work. We are checking our nest boxes every year. And about 1.5 years, the sawdust inside, of course, it rots, but it doesn't really disappear so much, maybe about 50% loss. So we just need to add the sawdust. It helps create a cooler temperature, higher humidity, but I think the plastic is still heating up the box. So we need to still try and think of a better insulation material to make our boxes better. So from all the different designs that we have, Hutan Nest Box is actually a plastic barrel coated in cement. It is also one of the heaviest boxes that we have, is 80 kilos. Compared to this one that we have, it is only sawdust inside this plastic barrel. It is about 30 kilos. Both of these boxes are not very far from each other by the river edge. And what we found is the ones that are near the river edge tend to be occupied. And I talked to an engineer that's on my team, Ganesh, and he mentioned that sometimes when there's objects near the river, there's an airflow that occurs that might be helping or aiding the temperature and humidity within the nest boxes. So this is something that will be very interesting if we can do research on and find out, is this a contributing factor to why our boxes that are at the edges usually work well. The ones that are inside, of course, we want to avoid age-preferring species like the oriental pieds from using them. So we try to put our boxes inside, deeper into the forest, at least 200 meters into the forest, but many of those are still unused. So for now, we have successful nesting, not visits, yeah. So we have rhinoceros hornbill. We have 6 chicks fledged from the hutan nest box. We have, this one is an oriental pied using these boxes, and we have bushy crested hornbills using the hutan boxes. So 3 different species so far with success with fledglings. The other thing that took us a while to be able to do confidently is cavity restoration, because as you can imagine, you have to learn a new skill of climbing safely, and also you need to have your hands free to do this work. It's really a big challenge, and even to feed the rope, it might take 5 hours for the team sometimes. Or when they are up there, they get stung by a hornet. Yesterday, one of my teammates, Raihan, had to abandon a nest repair because of he was attacked by the hornet. So it's a very challenging process, but as I have seen the last presentations, and it really shows that cavity restoration is something that works very, very well. So of course, we follow what the Thailand Hornbill Project has done. We try to follow all the methods, and this is one of it. This cavity, this particular cavity, the flooring had collapsed, so we just added soil to raise the sunken floor. And we work in Kinabatangan, which is a logged over forest. So the trees are all pretty similar in height. We're talking about maybe 25 meters. There are patches of primary forest where you get really tall trees. So it's very limiting for us to find really big, large trees to help repair the cavities, because we want to target the more endangered birds, right? We want to help the helmeted, the rhinoceros hornbill or the wrinkled hornbill. But we are limited by the type of trees we have in Kinabatangan. That's why Gaia also works in Kenyir, because Kenyir forest in Terengganu, which is in the West Malaysia, it has very good population. It has over 8 species of hornbills, and it has what we notice, quite a lot of helmeted hornbill pairs in that area. So for those really tall, large trees, we try to work in Kenyir in Terengganu. So this was actually what we did in this month, early this month. My team was there. They climbed from the 37 tree cavities that Zikri and the Hornbill Guardians have identified and have found over the years. My team went there, the climbers went there, and they tried to choose at least 6 cavities as candidates to restore. But when it came to actually restoration work, only 3 was possible, because it is very challenging. Sometimes we've even had incidences where we didn't have enough rope length. The tree was too tall. It's like sometimes the branches, there's no branch to particularly feed your rope. And sometimes the tree is just so tall that it's very hard for the climbers to slingshot the rope over. So this one of these really big, large trees that we have in Kenyir was restored, and the team was amazed that they had to add 100 over kilos of soil to raise it until you come to the entrance of the cavity. So I'm really excited to see that the team is able to do this kind of cavity restoration. We just starting to do. Earlier on, during my PhD days in 2016, we were doing very low cavities, things that we could reach with ladders. That was really working out for oriental pied hornbills. In fact, we had 9 oriental pied chicks fledged from very short trees. But now over time, and thanks to funders like Saim Darby, Gamuda, and Hasana, all these different funders have come forth, and we are able to buy the gear, the climbing gear, and also train the team to go higher up to work on taller cavities. The other thing about cavity restoration is we started out using a lot of wood pieces that we find around the forest floor, for example, to put like the perch, the branch. But over a year, we go back and it disappears. It's rotten and it's disappeared. So we decided to start using plastics. This forest is a sanctuary, so no one is allowed inside this forest. It's prohibited. So the threats of hunters is very, very low. And so we were comfortable to use obvious materials like this, like the PVC pipe. We actually made it rough so the hornbill could perch. And this particular cavity, we added the perch, and we saw 4 different species coming: black hornbill, white crown, wrinkle, and also, of course, the oriental pied is always there coming to these cavities. I would like to work with my team or anyone on 3D printing. If we could make some sort of perch that is more natural, and maybe we can custom make it and put it at the entrances. So this might encourage a more natural look and more encourage the birds to come to the cavities that we've been restoring. That's all for my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you so much for your time. And these are all our funders and our collaborators, which without them, none of this is possible. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for your impressive project and very nice design for the artificial nest. Yeah, I think we have some time for like quick questions. So, have you found any preference of species on the size and shape of the nest entrance?
No, not really, actually. We try to always make our entrances big enough for larger species to fit, especially the casque and the head of the rhinoceros hornbill. So we haven't, it's just the oriental pied is everywhere. It comes to the restored nest, it comes to the nest boxes. It's the first client. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So maybe we keep additional question for the last session. Thank you. So we will move on to the next presenter.
Thank you so much.
Yep. So in the next topic is presented by Siva Justinek. The topic is Hornbill Guardian, community-led hornbill nest monitoring and protection as a part of a comprehensive conservation strategy to protect the hornbill of Borneo. Hello, Siva.
Hi. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, should I just share the screen? Is it okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, one sec. Okay, can you all see my screen? And then let's do.
Yes, I can see your slide on screen now.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I want to also say amazing work, everybody. And like, I so much love to see all the local representation. So it also makes me a little bit sad that my coworker Marega is not here. He's right now on the field working this job because he's actually the one like designing this, running this, and yeah, basically starting this since 2018. So thanks to him, but I'm here presenting today. We work with Planet Indonesia. It's a local NGO based in West Kalimantan, so west part of Indonesian Borneo. And Hornbill Guardians is actually one of the strategies that we devised how to conserve and like support the various hornbills that we have in West Kalimantan. And I will a little bit walk you through what we do in general, so you will understand where this fits in. So I put this amazing photo first. As you know, like Borneo has one of the top 3 biodiverse jungles in the world, and same goes for West Kalimantan. We have 8 species of hornbills here. One of them, the helmeted hornbill, is critically endangered. And then the white-crowned hornbill is also endangered. The others, yeah, probably vulnerable, but I think it's just not enough data done with them. And besides this amazing biodiversity, there's also communities in the terrestrial areas. It's mostly indigenous Daya communities of different clans. And these people have still very rich cultural traditions, but due to the remoteness of the area, they're often like trapped in a vicious cycle of being very poor and heavily relying on the exploitative activities in the forest. They are predominantly subsistence farmers, so it means they heavily rely. But then, yeah, they're trapped in this area because the access to basic needs is often cut for them. And even the areas, the natural areas that are around them and that they traditionally managed so well is often being exploited by, well, either legally or illegally by mining companies, by palm oil plantations, which means that the conditions for them are getting much worse, right? In terms of that, yeah, they don't have access to these areas that they previously used. And also there's a lot of rainfall and a lot of floods in the area. So yeah, the majority of these people are indigenous, and our mission is that we want to conserve these at-risk ecosystems through integrated community-led governance, addressing the struggles, so the socioeconomic challenges, and drive conservation through that. So because I a little bit changed my presentation to what I've sent you yesterday. I added this slide in because I saw that here we didn't talk so much like about conservation approaches. You guys are really specialists on the hornbills, but we have like our general approach is basis of a core model, and it all bases off basically of the idea that the communities can identify challenges really well, and if we listen to them, they can present the solutions as well. And when we started off, which is over 10 years ago now, this is exactly what the very small team at that time did. And through that, and together with the communities, we designed these 4 pillars. I will not go into detail, but they basically address obtaining tenurial rights. So it means that the community can first co-manage the area, but then also it has like rights that the area cannot be sold or legally or illegally in any way harvested, and they have rights over it. So it means that the government cannot tomorrow sell it for palm oil plantation or open another mining site, which it's a huge problem, like across Borneo, but also in our region. So it means they have rights. And then we also build trust with the community and support them in establishing a community-led organization within each community. We have over 50 right now across West Kalimantan. And we support establishment, whether it's registered or not is their choice, but then they are running it. And they are running under that establishment several programs. And these programs are based on what they believe they need, but it often comes to the same things, right? Basic access to health, to financial inclusion, to education. And then often they also ask for support in climate smart agricultures because they don't have access to either fertilizers or pesticides. So like we also teach them how to make it by themselves if that's their request. So it means it comes down to supports, like it's a safety net if they want to take loans, and the loans that we support the system of, they gather by themselves and they don't request any interest because these people are far from banks, and the credit unions that come to the area, I mean, maybe it's similar in Malaysia too, it's very predatory. So the interests are usually crazy. They literally go like 200% up within a year. So what we do is that we help them like set up the system, they save themselves, and then there's no interest. There's only initial fee, but then they implement their customary DIAC rules to sort of like what will happen if people don't manage to meet these targets, right? And it's not harsh. It's like, and like in our tracking, they've actually been doing so well. So this also supports that. It means that when these people come to a spot that it's either economic crisis like COVID or some personal troubles, for example, somebody in the family is sick, they don't have to resort to hunt for orangutan and sell the baby because they know that they have a safety net that is legal and also often like more sure, right? Rather than getting also yourself into trouble, well, illegally and also just being more exposed deep in the forest, right? So we've done this 10 years and we have good success. So we're quite proud with our model. And we work across 4 sites. This is just West Kalimantan. 2 are terrestrial, and then 1 is marine and 1 is coastal mangrove area. And today we will focus on the north part where you see it says Gunung Niut Penrisen Forest Complex. We currently work with 13 communities there in 9 villages, because the villages in Indonesia are huge, right? We're talking about several thousand people, and often the different sub-villages are like spread apart. So we currently work in there. It covers 3 different, how you think, kecamatan, 3 different, municipalities, maybe like that. And it's quite a big area. So this is the area. It also has the highest mountain in West Kalimantan, which is Gunung Niut, and 1,700. It's all primary forest with extremely tall trees. It's mostly hilly and mountainous, like the lowland areas have been sadly deforested. And this area, a total of this area is about 160,000 hectares. And it consists of the nature reserve, which is the thing that is like marked here in violet. This one is about 92,000 hectares, and then also protection forest. Why is this interesting is because when we talk about nature reserves, it means it's the highest level of protection, and obviously the local communities cannot obtain the rights. But we came to this area because this reserve was only established in 1984, and there were communities living there. So as soon as they established it, the communities still live within the reserve, and they live in this central area, sort of like where it says Tenggone here. So it means that these communities and their infrastructure effectively cuts this beautiful reserve in 2 fragments. There are corridors, so it is like, it's not the end of the world, but it means that we have these 2 fragments, and then the protection forests are around this area and a little bit to the south as well. And so effectively it's in 3 fragments, and in where protection forest is, that's the potential also to obtain the tenorial right. On this map, I've also marked this area where the research and the Hornbill Guardians project is currently taking place. So just so you little bit see, and this is all very close to the Malaysian border of Sarawak, so other side than my colleague just before. And yeah, so when we were thinking like under the pillar of participatory management, it means that the communities manage the area, but for them to manage the area, they have to understand what's happening in the forest. And they have a lot of local knowledge, so they know a lot, but also we need to measure these things so we can like objectively also say, okay, maybe this could be done and we can apply for funding, and yeah, we have like stronger evidence to build on. And when we were identifying threats, particularly to hornbills, obviously like the lack of habitat is one, but then the other one, the biggest one, is the poaching. And hornbills here are poached for bushmeats. They're poached for their feathers because they're still used a lot in traditional events and ceremonies. And then like in sense of, especially for the helmeted hornbills, they're poached for their casks because like they're the only in this area that the cask is filled with keratin. So they are exported. They're also like locally used. So it means they're really a target species. And at the same time, as probably all of you know, their nesting way that they would like tie themselves to a single tree for several months, it makes them extremely vulnerable. And when we started here, the communities would tell us that that's exactly how you hunt them. Because imagine, these trees are super high. It's difficult to shoot a hornbill while it's flying or like when it's somewhere high in the canopy, but when it's in the nest and you figure out where the nest is, it becomes much, much easier. So the communities in the past, they would actually wait so the little chick would also be already like just before leaving the nest, and then that's when they would usually easily get the whole family. So okay, we said the main threat is basically illegal wildlife trade, right? Poaching, whether it's for food or for selling. And we thought like 3 ways of how we would approach this. And this theory of change is based on the framework that I quoted like down here. It was published in 2016. I'm happy to share later if somebody wants to see more. But the framework was basically looking at grouping the reasons why somebody would poach animals and what would make them prevent this, like what would stop them from poaching. And we designed our theory based on that. So one would be that we need to strengthen, like I'm up here, strengthen disincentive for the wildlife trade. So in that way, we implemented smart patrols, and they obviously increase visibility, what's happening in the forest, who's doing it, and the consequences come in place. And then also, it just means that somebody's present in the forest. So the poachers don't have such a free opportunity to roam and hunt, right? The second thing, which we also started in 2018, is increased incentive for protection. So one way is that actually these people that are hornbill guardians, they get paid. So they get like a daily incentive for this, which means that this is like an additional alternative livelihood for the poachers that maybe had money from that. And this one is like something that they can really rely on. It's not whether you will catch it or not. And then at the same time, it also means through them, we're strengthening these cultural beliefs that they have around hornbills, because they believe that the hornbills here are a symbol of strength, of purity. They're used a lot in all kinds of events, and sometimes they also believe it's their way to communicate with the deceased ancestors. So through that, we also strengthen cultural norms. And then this one is like quite a broad, so support like alternatives, so meaning that they would have a reason that they need to hunt, but also that they would have other alternative sources. When we talk alternative sources, we actually, like through our programs of taking loans, realize that like bringing something completely new might not be the best option, at least for our Thai communities. But alternative meaning, for example, they become smart patrol rangers, they become hornbill guardians. In that sense, yes. Or if it's something that they want to develop themselves, that's something where we support. I call this socioeconomic services, and CLO, it means community-led organization, because the services fall under them. And this also decreased dependence, right? Because now they don't have this, like that's their only resort when the things get tough. And through our smart patrols, we're also taking data on observations of wildlife, not only encounter rates of exploitative activities. And we've actually seen that the hornbills in our areas, so there's 8 species, and we have good data on 6, have actually increased or at least stabilized, while before it was all going downhill. The nest monitoring methods, I think probably like whoever of you have done it, it's quite standard. So it basically starts early morning when the hornbills start their day until sort of dusk. They happen directly, full day. So this is sometimes challenged with funds, because obviously you need quite a team to do that. But we haven't done so many nests yet, so it was feasible so far. And we would usually do that through either like mounting a camera to the site, or like the boys that have it here on the picture, it's with binoculars and a phone. So it means like it's much easier to observe, take notes, and we would always have 2 observers at the same time, which means first they're supporting each other, like to make sure that we don't miss anything, but also it's sort of a net, right? That's, for example, when these people know where the nests are, that they wouldn't come back and just hunt the family, right? And these areas are well camouflaged. They have like also like a tarp under, so the rain doesn't come through. They're well camouflaged. They're not directly under the nest. And they're a little bit far away. And Mariga was telling me a lot that they've learned a lot, like which species are more sensitive to any noise or to any smells, or like how far they should be to make sure that they don't disturb them, right? So far, actually till end of 2024, we were only focusing on the helmeted hornbills. And so far we've only observed 12 nests. And like here we have one that didn't end up being monitoring thoroughly, because our big challenge is also, because this is happening in the nature reserve, we work together with the Agency for the Management of Natural Resources in Indonesia, BKSDA, and they have to issue a permit, which they gladly do. We have like an MOU with them, but because it's a nature reserve, they also have to send out people with us. So usually it's their representative, their staff person as well, and they're very limited in the number of staff in manpower. So we currently are talking that they will allow us, that the community can do this by themselves, but obviously with names and under sort of us vouching for them, because we've worked there since 2017. So we know who we can trust. And currently we have 37 members that are already trained on this observation. And we plan to expand actually to the west part of the area also. I have like some very basic numbers here. So we've checked like in the area across this research station, Tagong, which is also a local name for the helmeted hornbill. And we saw, like we checked the density of these nests per hectare. And actually it's quite high. It's 1.6 nests. And on this 12 nests that you've seen, we've checked some basic details, and we saw that most of these nests are very broad. They have diameter of around 200 centimeters at breast height. The nest height is mostly around 20 or just below, and then the tree height is more than 25. So these are high tall trees and very old. And one of the challenges it is that they actually just fall over, and we actually also see that there's not enough of these trees based on how many different hornbills it is, and the competition is high. I already got inspired by you guys. Here I put intentionally another hornbill because in 2025 we expanded this and we said, okay, we want to focus on any of the 8 hornbill species. So this year we've already observed nests of 4 different species, which I have listed on the right and a little bit covered for me right now. And these 4 have all been successful. We've seen them all with chicks leaving the nest. I don't know how much time I have. I will almost stop here. When we in 2021 and 23, we had a total of 7 nests monitored, and we've just sort of crafted their timeline, which I know it's known, it's not something new, but we were really happy to observe how, because one of the data we take is also how much feed does the male bring to the female. So it's either fruit or sometimes also insects, snakes, lizards. And we saw this increases a lot once the chick is born. So it's also a really good indicator, right? So if let's say we don't manage to be there present the whole time, if we come for a couple of days each week, we can know at what stage they are, even if we don't find them once they're just preparing the nest, right? Because sometimes the nests are discovered along the process. I will just show you one more slide and then I'm done. So another slide that was interesting, we're right now doing a more in-depth analysis on the occupancy for 4 hornbill species, because on 4 we have really good data. But we've still done this simpler analysis, which we've done, I think, end of last year. And we were just seeing the encounter rates across area and across time. And this was based on our smart patrols and transect surveys that we do twice a year. And basically we talked obviously with some people that do this nests a lot, and they developed that it's optimal if we sort of make a grid of hexagon bins across the area. And then for each hexagon bin, we define effort based on how many times this grid was crossed, either a transect survey or smart patrol, and then how many animals were observed on how many occasions in that nest. Actually, it's just how many occasions, not how many animals. And then dividing that, so observations divided by effort, it would give us our encounter rate. And here we can a little bit see this is also where the smart patrols mostly take place, because either there's more exploitative activities, and also this area is also has the potential for fire. So they would also monitor the fire hotspots. But it also gave us a good overview across the years what's happening with our populations. And I have here one by one, but basically they're all increasing. And this is from since we started, so it's across 7 years. And since we started and what's happening, and they're all increasing. We only have 6 here, but I think this is where I would finish my presentation. I probably forgot something. You're welcome to reach out. You're welcome to look a little bit further on our website. We do have a blog there that's quite technical. Of course, it's a lot of other conservation aspects as well, not just hornbill, but we also have one tab that says Learn, and there we have publications, and we've also published something on the helmeted hornbills, and we've also co-designed the strategical plan under the IUCN group for the helmeted hornbills specifically. So I think that's it from my side. I don't know, are there any questions? I have to stop sharing here.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm happy to see the research that you have done and the successful of the helmeted hornbill in your data. So maybe I have one quick question. In your study area, are there any problem about illegal poaching for the hornbill?
So this is actually the main problem for the hornbills in our area. This is like because first, the border with Malaysia is very close and it's not well monitored. So it's very easy to get things across and sell them outside because the casks. So we've actually documented previous data and then also our own work, and we saw that in the span of just a couple of years, around like going up till 2016, they estimate that, oh, I forgot, but it's like crazy number, like several thousands of hornbills, helmeted hornbills, were taken out of the wild and sold, and these were just based on confiscations because it's very wanted. They're like keratin field, this tusk that they have, right? It's actually on the black market. It reaches a higher price than ivory tusk.
Yeah.
So poaching is very, very high, and in the other side less, because in the other side they would do it sometimes for traditions. But also, if you imagine, let's say when I talked in the field with the local people, they said that the big feather of the hornbill is sold for as much as, let's say, if I tell you in euros or maybe dollars, it's like 7 or.
So now we are coming back and we are ready for the last presenter today from Obakeng Pule. And the topic is handling the heat, managing microclimate for nesting desert hornbill. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
I'm good. I'm gonna try and share my screen now.
Yes.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we see the screen now.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna move this side. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Obakempule. I am from South Africa. Today, I'll be presenting my master's project, which was titled "Handling the Heat: Managing Microclimates for Nesting Desert Hornbills." So I'll talk to you a little bit about the impact of climate change on Arizona species using this charismatic species, the southern yellow-billed hornbill. So as mentioned before, my study species is the southern yellow-billed hornbills. So these birds have got, they breed in nest cavities, either natural or nest boxes, as we've seen from the previous talks. And then again, if you've seen, hornbills have got a unique breeding system whereby like the female will seal herself inside of a nest cavity. She will then go on to mold all of her flight feathers, therefore leaving herself completely reliant on the male to provision food for her and for the nest. But my study species in the Kalahari is in trouble. The data that we have on this species suggests that the proportion of days during the summer breeding season is directly correlated with breeding success, meaning as you have more days that are above 35 degrees Celsius, breeding success rapidly declines. So as we have got more days that are above 35 degrees Celsius, you can see that breeding success declines rapidly. And again, summers at the study site have gotten rapidly and substantially hotter over the last decade, leading to a collapse in the proportion of nest boxes used and a collapse in the proportion of nest success at the study site. So now let's try and understand the mechanism behind all of this. The data that we have just looked at suggests that the problems that we have looked at are mediated by nesting mass gain.
Obakeng, I'm sorry for interrupting. We can see the screen, but it's not the full screen. I mean, it's too large, and we cannot see like every area on your slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me just do this.
You can see like just some part of your slides.
Sure. Full screen. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming, but not yet. Okay.
Okay. I don't know. Can I?
Maybe can.
Should I?
What I see is the script, not the full screen mode.
Not the full screen mode. Okay, I'll share the screen.
But yeah.
How about now? Is it on now?
No, this is just the page that Hello.
Hello. Can you see my screen now?
I can see your screen now, and it's really good, but the sound now
Yeah, it
is
was perfect. It was perfect just now.
Okay. All right.
Perfect just now.
Please tell me to start talking if the sound gets fixed. Thank you.
It's perfect now. I think you had like two sources before, but now it's good, so we hear you clear.
Sure. I'm not sure if I should continue, but let me I'll just run through from the beginning. As I mentioned, sorry, why is it not moving now? All right. As I mentioned, I worked with southern yellow-beaked hornbills. They breed in nest cavities, natural or artificial, and then the females will seal themselves inside a nest box, leaving themselves completely reliant on the male to provision food for the nest and for the female. And I mentioned again that breeding success at the study site was found to be strongly correlated with temperature. As we have more days that are above 35 degrees Celsius, breeding success rapidly decline. And then some outside the study site got rapidly and substantially hotter over the last decade, leading to a collapse in both nest success and the percentage of nest boxes used. And then I was on this slide presenting looking at the mechanisms, trying to understand the mechanism behind all of this. And then I mentioned that most of these effects were driven by nesting mass gain. In fact, 70% of these effects of nest success was driven by nest temperatures, while 30% was from the provisioning rate. So now I've got a picture of artificial nest boxes that are used in my study. We've got a normal artificial nest box on the far left, and then in the middle we've got an insulated artificial nest box, which is just an uninsulated nest box or a normal nest box with sheets of plywood on all sides, the top and also in the front. And then to the far right, we've got an insulated nest box with a seal inside, meaning that the hornbill is active. So for my field work, I did it in the Kalahari Desert here in South Africa. It's a semi-arid savanna with arid-like conditions. And what I did for my field work, first of all, I standardized all the nest boxes that were in the field to first of all make them all insulated. And then when the birds had begun breeding, I would manipulate the nest to either insulated or uninsulated. And then I would continue to take morphometric measurements of the chicks, her eggs, and the female if they were active in the nest. And then I'll go a further step by installing eye-button data loggers on the top or the lids of the nest boxes to monitor nest box temperatures. So for this study, I worked with two big data sets, of mainly the historic data set and an experimental data set, of which the historic data set was comprised of two PhDs from 2012 to 2017 by Dr. Tanya van der Ven, of which in a study she just had all uninsulated nest boxes. And then the second PhD was from 2018 to 2021 by Dr. Nicholas Pattinson, of which in his study just had all insulated boxes. We therefore found that we have confounds of season in these data sets, mainly because the data was collected over different years or in different seasons. Now, to try and untangle these confounds, we designed an experimental data set of which in 2022, Benjamin Murphy went into the field and collected data using both box types, insulated and uninsulated. And to try and increase our sample size, I went into the field in 2023 and basically repeated what was done in 2022. Now, for the sake of this presentation, I'll present my results on fledge fail or nest success, chick mass, and nest temperature for both the historic and experimental data sets. Now, with the historic data set, we saw that we had strong effects of season, strong effect of box type, and strong effect of air temperature on nest success. On the y-axis, we've got probability of nest success, and then on the x-axis, we've got season, box type, and air temperature. So the season effect was really variable between the seasons, and just to remind you, we only had insulated boxes in the last 2 seasons. Thus, we have this confound between box type and season. And unfortunately for us, the last 2 seasons were very wet, especially the 2020-2021 season. Further meaning we've got confounds again between box type and air temperature. We therefore cannot tell what this pattern is driven by, which is why this study was very important in trying to untangle this confound so that you can see a much clearer picture. Now, moving on with the experimental nest success results, we see here that insulated boxes have a higher probability of nest success as compared to uninsulated nest boxes. Meaning that chicks in these insulated boxes have got a higher chance of fledging as compared to chicks in uninsulated nest boxes. We also found a temperature effect, but it was rather insignificant. Now, moving on with the experimental chick mass results, we also found strong effects of season, strong effects of box type, and strong effects of air temperature on the chick's mass. Again, on the x-axis, we've got mass, and then on the y-axis, we've got mass, x-axis, we've got season, box type, and mean temperature. Now, it was quite interesting to know that these effects were quite strong when the chicks were young, very young, from day 7 to day 14 or day 28. And then these effects started to fall off when the chicks became older, around day 35 to day 45, basically when they were ready to fledge. One thing to note again is that when we ran our models, we did not find any significant interaction between box type and air temperature. However, when I checked the various inflection factors of these models, it suggested that we have confounds between these 2 variables as well. Now, looking at the experimental chick mass results, here I was able to successfully fit an interaction in the model, and the interaction was significant. We can see that chicks in insulated boxes, in uninsulated boxes, are severely impacted by nest temperatures. For example, in this diagram, you can see that as air temperature increases, chicks in uninsulated boxes, represented by the red line, drop mass quite rapidly, while the opposite is true for chicks in insulated boxes. So therefore, these insulated boxes seem to buffer against the negative effects of rising air temperatures on the chick's mass. So now, how can we investigate how these insulated boxes might buffer against nest temperatures? What I did to understand this, as mentioned before, is that I installed iButton data loggers into the nest boxes to monitor nest temperatures and look at the relationship between air temperature and nest temperatures. So for occupied nests, which were nests that had hornbills breeding inside of them, we found an interaction in the model, and from the diagram, insulated boxes seem to be keeping nest temperatures close to air temperatures, while nest temperatures in uninsulated boxes rises faster than air temperature. So from the diagram, we've got nest temperature on the y-axis and then air temperature on the x-axis. And you can see that these insulated boxes or beds that are in insulated boxes seem to be keeping their nest temperatures close to that air temperature line. This is the dashed dotted line represents the 1-to-1 line where air temperature equals to nest temperatures. And as I mentioned before, that beds inside insulated boxes seem to be keeping their nest temperatures close to that 1-to-1 line, whilst the opposite is true for birds in uninsulated boxes. So insulated boxes are always even cooler, even when there are no birds inside of them. For example, here in this diagram, for unoccupied nests, you can see that even though there are no birds inside our nest boxes, insulated nest boxes, we can see that they are much cooler compared to uninsulated nest boxes. It is also we also found something that is quite interesting, that like hornbills in both occupied and unoccupied nest boxes are able to stay in the nest boxes only after a certain temperature threshold, which is 50.6 degrees Celsius. Above this thermal temperature, which is their thermal tolerance limit, these nests unfortunately will fail. For example, the red dotted line in both plots show that 50.6 degrees Celsius, which is the thermal tolerance limits that hornbills can tolerate. And from both diagrams, you can see that we've got a lot of data points from uninsulated nest boxes crossing that 50.6 thermal tolerance limit. And unfortunately for these birds, they will either die in the nest or the nest will flee. So now, what can we take from all of this? Well, we saw from the historic data set that we had strong effects of season, box type, and air temperature. But we also saw that we had strong confounds between season, air type, and box type as well. We saw that in the experimental data set that box type, particularly the insulated boxes, were able to buffer against the negative effects of air temperature, leading to higher nesting success and bigger chicks in insulated boxes. So therefore, I suppose what you can do, or what you can take from all of this, is that we need to deploy these insulated nest boxes in the study site to help the population breed more effectively, and to also try and mitigate that decadal breeding collapse that we saw. These insulated boxes can also be deployed in similar environments, for example, arid zone environments, to try and aid other species that are fighting against the impacts of climate change breed effectively. I would like to thank my supervisors and my sponsors for sponsoring this project. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, the temperature really a crucial effect for the breeding success. Yeah, we now have one question about what type of insulation material that you use.
So we used sheets of plywood, just plywood sheets. I think about like maybe 50 centimeters thick.
Yes, and one question about the potential predator in your study site. Potential predator for the chick in the nest.
So as we know that hornbills seal themselves inside of the nest cavities, so even with nest boxes, it is quite difficult for predators to access the nest itself because of that seal at the entrance. And also the nest itself is quite secure. So it is quite, we've not really recorded any predation events in our nest boxes.
May I further ask for like the cavity in nature? Are there any natural predator to prey on the hornbill in the natural cavity nest?
On the natural cavity nest as well, we've not recorded any, but then we do not have a lot of data on that. But then it's the same thing. They will seal the nest cavity quite well, making it very difficult for anything to get in there. I mean, like the slate will only be available for the male to, provision food for the female and for the nest. So predation is quite limited.
Yeah, thanks for your answer. So I have one question about the unoccupied nest. Do you have any idea why they don't use the some unoccupied nest?
No, honestly, no. It depends. It varies, honestly. There's a lot of things that can, impact breeding at the study site. For example, in this study site, it's an arid zone study site. If temperatures exceed that 35 degrees Celsius, hornbills tend not to breed at all. Some will try and like give it a go and try and go inside and maybe like fail towards the middle of the breeding season, and some don't breed at all. And again, like rainfall, again, it's quite an important factor as well. It leads to the availability of food. If there's no food resources available, the birds would skip the entire breeding season. So it's a combination of factors that might lead to some of the nests being unoccupied.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's really largely depends on the environment in your study site.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
a question about the size of the nest box. Yeah, how do you decide for the size? Yeah.
Okay, I do not have the dimensions with me right now, but then I'm happy to share the dimensions via email to anyone. I can share them to the organizers, and then they can send those dimensions to people who are interested in that.
Okay, thanks for your answer and the presentation. There is no further question in chat box. Let me ask, are there any questions from the meeting room? Yeah, maybe right now we are ready for the discussion session. Yeah, I will check about the question in chat box. มีก่อนหน้านี้เปิดไม่ได้เนาะตอนนี้หน้าทำอะไร
สวัสดีครับ I have a question. In your nest box, I think the cavity inside is too narrow, and then the floor, I think it too depth, and the ceiling is too short for me. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thanks for the suggestion. So the section is maybe the size and the ceiling maybe too small and ceiling is too low. Yeah, you may adapt the box a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. I'll take note of that.
Maybe if anyone still have some questions, because I think the information that you posted earlier, maybe we cannot find it now. Maybe you can put more questions.
Yeah, there is one question about the Thailand Hornbill Foundation that are there any specific area that we should concern? And I answer that the more concern now is on some particular species like elusive species. So the question is what specifically about this species would the foundation want more information on?
I think there are two endangered species that we're focusing on in the south of Thailand, black hornbill and wrinkle hornbill. I think because we have very small data that we can get in the field, and the population is very low, even though there are a few, maybe less than, I think, 10, 20s in Thailand. But we want to keep the Thai genetics that we hope to to make more population for Thailand.
The second page. Message in butang ko ang second page. Sorry na third page na siya. Sige na, iswap the third page. Yari yung second page. Yari ko alupin do.
I see people raise hand. Rawinder, could you please turn on the microphone and open your discussion?
Sorry, I accidentally pressed. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. And so for DNP Kapele, yeah, you raise your hand. Could you please turn on the microphone and open your discussion?
Hello. Good morning to all.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm Piranut from DNP, and I have one question that it relates to the base improvement for Hornbill. I wonder that the next improvement for Hornbill will is interference with natural selection of Hornbill. Maybe please maybe just summarize, or is there any related research regarding this issue? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your questions. Oh, let me translate the question into Thai for Thai audience here. So คำถามนะคะก็จะเกี่ยวกับว่าของThailand Hornbill Research Foundation เนี่ยการปรับปรุงรังจะเป็นการรบกวน natural selection หรือเปล่านะคะแต่ขอทางทีมลอง discuss นิดนึงไหมคะ
ผมตอบไปก่อนภาษาไทยเนาะ
ค่ะ Okay and now there we open for discussion and I will translate into English
เราต้องมีการสำรวจประชากรของนกในพื้นที่นั้นก่อนนะครับและการที่เราจะเปิดปากโพรงหรือทำอะไรให้นกอะไรเนี่ยเราเอาโพรงธรรมชาติที่มันมีอยู่แล้วเราจะไม่ซ่อมเผื่อและต้องรู้ว่าถ้านกกกต่อนกกกรังต่อรังต้องห่างกันอย่างน้อย500 เมตรเป็นอย่างต่ำเราจะไม่เผื่อนกกกต่อนกกกแค่100 เมตรนะครับแล้วก็ถ้าเป็นนกเงือกอย่างนกแก๊กเราจะไม่ซ่อมเลยแต่ถ้าเราเปิดให้นกใหญ่เข้ามาอยู่ใกล้กันมันเป็นการแข่งแย่งและความสำเร็จของนกใหญ่จะลดลงคือต้องมีข้อมูลทางงานวิจัยมาบอกว่าควรทำอะไรตรงไหนแค่ไหนในพื้นที่ของมันเองนะครับขอบคุณครับ
Okay, thanks for the answer. So let me repeat the question. ค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะสำหรับคำถาม Let me repeat the question again about the nest improvement and management in Thailand in Khao Yai National Park that we repair and improve nest cavity with our hope to increase reproductive success. And the question is that is this the human disturbance that will interfere the natural selection, the process of natural selections. And our field research team share the experience that before we do any nest improvement or repairment, we have the data and information of each species specifically, including the home range and the food source and the place where they use. And what we do for the nest repair and improvement is that we will repair only the existing cavity. We don't drill the hole or create any new cavity by ourselves. We just repair what it is in the forest. And we also have information on the home range, so we don't improve the nest to let the nest, the available nest close together, because that will increase the competition. And even though we do that, they don't use the nest anyway. And we also focusing on some particular species that they might be hard to breed, like the great hornbill. But for the species that are quite adaptable, like the oriental pie hornbill, we don't do the nest improvement for that species because they adapt well, and there is nothing to worry about their reproductive success. Yeah, quite long answer from me.
So I would like to add something more. I think that is a good point that we can see pros and cons for nest management. It's maybe not necessary to do it, or unless the population is so low or the tree is too small, I think it's necessary. But in some area, it's just like monitor. But for Thailand Hornbill project, we try to do research and model how good, how bad. We saw some bad aspects. So for example, maybe generalist species can get first, and less species that not aggressive, they might lose opportunities. So if we want to manage cavity, we have to make sure that we have to balance between the sympatric species in the area, not allow the common species and more common and make the small population getting less and less. We have to balance this. That's a good point that we have to think about if you want to manage.
And yeah, that's the point. And I would like to emphasize on the importance of the long-term research data that will give us guideline for the appropriate management. So question from Yanisa, please.
สวัสดีค่ะ I wanted to know what are the steps that the foundation is doing to increase the population of like the elusive species like the wrinkled, and I think he said black, I'm not really sure, hornbill, compared to the other species like the great hornbill. Like what are you doing differently to monitor or increase the population of these two endangered species?
So these two species is like specific in the lowland tropical forest, like in swamp forest. And swamp forest in Thailand in the south is like a fragment and have been disturbed by like farm, like cultivated land. It changed a lot. So I think population of ringles or even black hornbills have a specific niche for them to survive. This is why we cannot see a lot of black hornbill, but very common in Malaysia, or even though in like ringle hornbill. So because of the habitat degradations and habitat loss, the change of the ecosystem of the habitat. That's why the population of these two species is getting low and low. It's maybe extinct in the next 10 years. But we don't hope so.
Thanks for your question. Maybe I open another discussion topic. May I ask Ravinder from the GEA project. Yeah, about your artificial nest installation. You notice that the nest that installed near the river usually get occupied and get successfully fledging. My question is that have you seen any different in habitat preferences among the different species in your study area?
Hi. So in Kinabatangan, we have a very thin strip of forest and then a lot of oil palm plantations. So it's also lowland forest. So it's pretty similar habitat. There are parts that are peat swamp, but this is mainly the terrain. It's not much of hills and mountains. Does that help answer?
Yes, because I asked this because from our experience, we noticed that several species they prefer different habitat types. So maybe the location of nest installation maybe affect the species that use the nest. Yeah, that's why I asked the question. Yeah, anyone want to share experience on this?
I just wanted to add, so the three nest boxes that are quite close to the river, they are all at the river's edge, and these three boxes were occupied by bushy rhinoceros and oriental pied hornbill. So rhinoceros hornbill tend to nest deeper inside the forest, but strangely, it did not mind the box by the river edge.
I see. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we have more question from chat box. Have asking Ravida, what is the success rate for the rhinoceros hornbill using the nest? Yeah, you can turn on the microphone and answer and discuss about this.
Okay, so the nest box that was successful was the plastic barrel coated in cement. The one that Hutan put up in 2013, there were 5 nest boxes, and 2 of them also right by the river's edge became active. And the rhinoceros hornbills, from these 2 boxes, we had 6 chicks in total. Very interestingly, one of the boxes did not have a perch. The perch actually fell off. So naturally, there was a vine that fell on the box and became a perch, and then it became active. So we realized even the perch is very, very important when you put a nest box. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the experience.
Can I share about the situation in Budo National Park? We have 2 species that are very similar, great hornbill and rhinoceros hornbill. Great hornbill successfully used for the nest box, but not for rhinoceros hornbill. Or even they use it for 2 years, but they fail. I'm not really sure why. It's like more sensitive to the environmental conditions inside the nest box, or just cannot complete with the great hornbill.
Actually, this is very interesting because in Kinabatangan, we do not have great hornbills. There's no great hornbills on the island of Borneo, so I think this is a very good reason why the rhinoceros hornbill can take to the boxes easily.
Okay, so yeah, we have the since we have the technical problem, so anyone that posed the question on the first session that we haven't answered, could you please ask that questions again so we can discuss this and answer your question? For Thai people, it's okay to ask in Thai and I'll translate into English. Yeah, I found one interesting question to ask the field research team. Are there any general height for the nest of hornbill in Thailand? Height, the average height of the nest. So the question asks about the average height, but now our view.
How about Khao Yai National
Yeah.
Park?
สมมติว่าอย่างเขาใหญ่ฝั่งผมนะครับ เรามีนกอยู่4ชนิด ถ้าเฉลี่ยแล้วนกเงือกกรามช้างใช้พื้นที่ทำรังเรือนยอดเนี่ยต่อแนวรังเนี่ยสูงที่สุดเพราะมันเป็นพวกอับดานต่ำลงมาคือตั้งแต่40เมตรลงมาถึงต่ำสุดเนี่ยถ้าระยะปลอดภัยของมันอยู่ประมาณ10เมตรเนี่ยมีอยู่แต่ส่วนใหญ่40ลงมา30จากนั้นก็มาเป็นนกกกส่วนสีน้ำตาลกับนกแก๊กเนี่ยจะอยู่ในบุชก็คือในพุ่มเรือนยอดแต่นกแก๊กเนี่ยในการที่มันปรับตัวที่เขาใหญ่รังเตี้ยสุดของนกแก๊กคือ45เซนต่ำกว่า dBH แล้วรังสูงสุดของมันเนี่ยสูงพอกับนกเงือกกรามช้างคือ10-40 กว่าเมตรนี่คือการปรับตัวของมันเพราะฉะนั้นนกแก๊กเราไม่ไปยุ่งในการซ่อมหรืออะไรมากมายเขาใหญ่ฝั่งผมจะไม่ improve เลยเพราะว่ามันมีโพรงไม้เยอะมากเราก็เลือกที่จะซ่อมเพื่ออะไรต่างหากนะครับ
Okay, yeah, thanks for the experience. So the question asks about the average height of the nest cavity. So the answer is it also depends on the behavior and the biology of each species. For example, the red hornbill in Khao Yai National Park, they usually use the emergence tree and the height of the nest is approximately 30 to 40 meters above ground. And for the great hornbill, it's lower than that. And some species like the small size one, the brown hornbill and oriental pied hornbill, they use the height in the bush canopy, which is lower than 30 meters. And some species like pie hornbill, they are very adaptable. The lowest height is, less than 1 meter. It's only 45 centimeter above ground. And the highest cavity that they use is around 40 meter. This reflects the adaptability to use various type of nests and various type of the cavity depending on according to the height of what available for them. Okay.
I add a little bit. The height of the nest sometimes is related to the feeding or how they fly. For example, great and red hornbill is like a canopy species. They look from the top, look down. So many cavities that these two species use is about a bit higher than brown and pie hornbill, because Sometimes they feed on the ground, these two species. They use a middle layer onto the ground. But for the biggest
Oh, wow. It's look like our story today is very interesting. Thank you, Ajahn Sharita for your roles moderators for today. So I think this is the first time for us to organize this, but I think not the last one. This is just the beginning of the webinar like this. So, but we don't have much time. So sorry, because in the afternoon we will like in on site we will have some activities like a Hornbill festival in our university. So maybe I will show you some pictures or some clip video that I want to show you about our story. Maybe in the future you can join us. ไม่ออกเหรอคะอ่าอืมsorry อ๋อ
Yeah, that's like the say why side. Yeah, Hornbill Fest. Yeah, yeah, Hornbill Fest, Hornbill Fest. เทศกาลนกเงือกไทยวันสุพรรณอยู่ไม่ไกลไม่ใส่ใจคงหมดไปไม่ใส่ใจคงหมดไปไม่ใส่ใจคงหมดไปไม่ใส่ใจคงหมดไปไปช่วยกันดูงานมอเกษตรมีของขายพวงกุญแจปังได้ใจติ๊กเกอร์เทวไวรายนักเงือกไทยพวงกุญแจรูปนกเงือกหรือจะเลือกสติ๊กเกอร์เฟี้ยวฟ้าวสวยละเมอชักรักฉันและเงือกไทย
Just to show you about our activities. So the on-site activity we're gonna run in this afternoon on to tomorrow. So it's time for our webinar closing ceremony. So may I invite Ajahn Wichak for some speech of the closing ceremony. Thank you.
Just to summarize that, we have online participants between 55 and 75 for the first sessions, and now it's about 30 something. So that is a good number. But on site in this room, about 40s, 40s. And also we have like 7 presentations, right? Zone is very different. Yeah, they have to wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So other than that, I think I don't need to summarize something, but I just would like to say that if you happy with this some kind of webinar, which is very small, so maybe we can when we can organize once a year if possible, and maybe some other topics that very quite interesting, like climate change related to habitat and fruit for hornbill, threats, and especially I'm happy with the reintroduction. It's quite interesting to share information among us, and also including community-based conservation. So I hope that we have next time together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ajahn Vichak. And I would like to thank all participants online and everyone in this room. I apologize for the technical problem today, and next time we will prepare everything well, and it's going to be great. Thank you. And
Can you talk about the sponsors a little bit before closing? That's very important.
It would be my rules. Thank you, the media fund from Thailand to support our funding, and thank you for the master project in of the Faculty of Forestry that they also support our funding, and also lots of partner, WCS and also others. I will show you some screen to share to see our sponsor. Sorry, yeah. Andเกษตรศาสตร์ University, Hornbill Foundation, Thailand Hornbill Research Foundation, IUCN Specialist Group, Thailand Media Fund, and KUMEFA, or we call the Special Program of Master Student in our Faculty of Forestry, เกษตรศาสตร์ University, and also the Nature Explorer, National Science Museum, and also various group of supporting also in the local in the on-site activities. Yeah. Anything? I think they have more. Maybe you can check our Facebook. We can share you later about the pictures and activities, and then that's it. Thank you. So for the recording, we will share you later after we fix it very well, and then yeah, I will send email to anyone who register online. So maybe you can online now, check register now in our link, and then yeah, I will send it to you later after this meeting, and also some abstract from the speaker. Thank you.
Okay, I saw one question about sharing the presentation today. Yes, for the presenter that give consent that allow us to share, we will share your presentation. Yeah, the host will send the presenter the consent form. If you sign the consent form and allow us to give permission for us to distribute your presentation, yes. But if you are like not convenient to share, that is okay. Yeah, thank you.